It's so funny because I've never experienced that kind of show business, which is a huge bulk of show business movies, is making something. When you're producing it and directing it, it's years go into it.
Yeah.
And I've always been in the let's make it today and get it on TV tonight.
Yeah.
And a cabbie might shout something at me the next day, and then but there's no time to think about it because then you're making the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I've never quite understood this. The film business fascinates me, and what little I've seen of it, it looks incredibly difficult, and I understand why I'm not part of it. Because
I don't know about
you
that.
need a lot of you need a lot of patience and a planning, and it's,
Yeah. I'm happy to get at bats. Like that to me is what's fun right now. Like just because what you were able to build on the daily was a sense of sort of a greater thing that has a legacy, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
I think that when you're doing these one-offs like every few years, yes, it can feel like, oh my God, there's so much pressure on this one thing to work. And this is it. And now I'm actually settling. Just because I'm old, I guess. I'm settling into
you're ancient. Yeah.
the idea that like actually, okay, if I can keep going, I will create a body of work, which
Yes.
you were able to do.
Well, that's always
and then
the dream.
the body will be, what's left in the legacy, and there won't be this intense pressure to like always. I don't know. I don't even know what the pressure is anymore, though. Too, I'm sort of like. Does it need? I mean, it needs to make its money back. I don't want anybody to be like, and I don't want to be boring. That's
Right.
the main thing. I don't want to bore people.
You don't have to worry about that. I don't think you have to worry about that. But is this because it's funny? You've achieved so much, and in different ways. But just talking to you, I can feel that you're tough, and you're tough on yourself. Probably
Yes.
tougher on yourself than anybody.
I mean, I think that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do also though. I'm in my mind. I'm like, you give yourself grace. You give yourself grace, which I am trying to do too. More of like give myself grace, because I do think the guilt and pressure of being a working mom too is like it's real, unfortunately, in our society.
Yeah.
And so truly bringing myself a sense of like. Yeah, it's okay. I really enjoy getting to collaborate and make things with people. It's really fun. I love entertaining people. I love making people laugh. And if I get to do that, it's like it's a privilege, it's an honor, it's all the things that it is. It's also really hard work, and it also always takes me away from other things I also like to do, like going to my kid's basketball game, And so just making sure I don't call it balance because I think that's but
There is no balance. When people say,
what is that?
There is no balance.
I don't know what that means. I mean, I just am, in other words, I'm just trying to be the best version of myself. So that's being creative, doing the collaboration, having fun with what I'm doing, like, taking advantage of the relationships I've made along the way, and hopefully planting seeds that can grow later so that this can keep going,
Yeah.
Like that's what I think about, like the big picture stuff. But at the end of the day, I also am just trying when it isn't great, because sometimes it's not great, or I'll have a bad day or and by the way, when I watch Cocaine Bear, I'm like, oof, there's still things I'm like, God damn it, why did I cut that line? Or, oh, I should have cut that. Like, it's still not exactly right. But I like the idea that there's at some point pencils down and you just go
yes.
like, well, I did the best I could do with the time and money that I had and the resources and the people and the da-da-da. And that's the grace.
I don't want to talk to an artist who says, no, I nailed it.
I mean,
and nothing can be changed. No, that's not the way it is. You can always hear something or see something.
Totally.
I wanted to bring up quickly Ray Liotta, who's one of my all-time favorites, and this must have been. Was this the very last thing that he worked on?
I'm not 100% sure, so I don't know. Well, he went to the Dominican Republic where he passed away to do another project, and I don't know how much he'd actually shot of that before he passed. But
I got to know him a bit just over the years, interviewing him, and I mean, obviously, you get to know him from Goodfellas, and that's such an iconic role. And then when you talk to him, and he's just shrugging and being self-effacing,
Totally.
you can't handle it because you think, no.
You know, I I think it's okay to say this. I went to like a memorial for him after he passed away. And I thought what was so sweet about it was that the guys that were there, like his best friends who were like from high school in Jersey.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they're just the guys that he's always known, that know him as like kind of sweet, and you know, it's Ray and like he had a dream and he was and he thought he was gonna go to Hollywood, and like they're all still like, and he did it, you know, and he was like, I'm doing it. Like it's just this beautiful sense that he kind of really appreciated it and knew where he was from and loved doing it and all of those things. I think that loved him.
It says a lot about people that have that kind of success, and they're still good friends with people they knew in high school, college, grade school.
Yeah.
I've cut all those people out. They had to go.
What? Why? You were just, as soon as you went on TV, you were like, well.
Hey, what's the point? I had to cut them loose. You know? Can't have those guys hanging around.
But you just said it says a lot about someone.
Oh, no, it does. I'm a terrible person.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure I understood what you were saying. Okay.
I can't hang out with those Brookline creeps.
Brookline.
Do you go back a lot? Do you go back to Massachusetts? Or
Not as much as I want to. I just got a suite at the Garden.
Nice.
For Madonna.
Nice.
I'm very excited. Yeah. So I will go back. I'm going to bring all my cousins, you know, all that. I have so much. My sisters, my other sisters.
How many are there? How many sisters?
Well, I'm the oldest of 4.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't have that big of a family.
Right.
But my mom is from 7 and my dad's from 8. So I have a lot of I have a lot of first cousins.
Right.
And we're going to have a blast. I'm taking them all to the suite at the Garden.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you for inviting me. I'll be there as well.
Oh, I didn't hear the invitation.
I don't know if you are you a Madonna fan? I mean, I feel like you could get down to some Madonna.
Oh,
the old school hits.
You know, it was never in my wheelhouse. I think that's fair to say.
You're more like a Springsteen guy, right? That's your vibe.
Yeah. Springsteen. I love Bruce Springsteen. It just wasn't during the. I'm gonna say I didn't go whole hog on the Madonna phenomenon when it was happening. I appreciated it.
Yeah.
And I think she was a great showman.
Yeah,
show person.
She's a show person.
Yeah, and she certainly killed it and did so. But it's just not quite in my.
See, I think, like me and my gals, we're gonna lose our minds. You know, it does like the soundtrack to our youth. We did Like a Virgin and Holiday and, you know, the whole Like a Prayer and the whole thing.
I was too old for that.
Yeah.
And,
And that was like, we did like dance routines to it and we had to do the moves. You know, this was MTV. She was like on the videos and we all dressed like her. We wore all the, you know, the bracelets, the rubber bracelets. I mean, you know, we worshipped her. So I'm excited. Yeah. Anyway, well, that for sure is, I'll be home in the summer and I'll be seeing Madonna. How often do you go back?
I go back whenever I can. My parents still live there.
Yeah.
And most of my family lives within like 30 minutes of where I grew up.
Yeah.
So I go back every chance I can get, and then walk around and just remember the old days. There's
Duncan?
I go to Duncan.
Of course.
I walk by the football field where I had no involvement in football.
I was wondering where that was going.
I go to the old baseball field where I had no involvement in baseball.
You reminisce about not doing sports?
Yeah, I reminisce about being in my room studying. That's the room I studied in. And then what happened? Then I took a nap and then studied some more. They're not good stories.
Oh, man.
I had a few scrapes in my day. I was a real rapscallion. There's a quote you have that I saw that I thought is really fascinating, which is I think I'm getting this right, but you said you feel like you're a character actor that's trapped in a leading lady's body. And I thought, that's so true because, you're stunning. You're stunningly attractive. No, seriously.
You are beautiful.
Yeah. And
you should just know you're beautiful.
We're not being nice. We're sort of just like stunned. And I feel that way every time I run into you. And you've got, you know, it's crazy to act like it's a contradiction at all, but your comedy chops are so crazy good. that to have both, and then also to have all these other ambitions that you have, I think is very it's unusual.
It didn't used to be. I think about like the old movies stars of, the Greta Garbos and like the Mae Wests of the world. Like they were so cute, and like even like Katharine Hepburn and Audrey Hepburn, they got to, yes, they were like leading ladies. I mean, Audrey Hepburn probably more than the rest of that list, but they were like, Joan Crawford was like a broad, she really got Rosalind Russell. Like Auntie Mame was like my favorite thing growing up. Like I was like, I just want to be Auntie Mame. And that's what's always appealed to me, the just people who really got to chew up the scenery and like do physical comedy as well as, I don't know, do everything. And then there became like these ingenues who were just like damsels in distress, and I've played a lot of those. My like girlfriends, the girl, there's not much to do. Just kind of like be in the movie with the guy,
When I saw you in 40-Year-Old Virgin, obviously you were, crazy attractive popping on the screen, but also the way you were playing it was so funny in a different way that I hadn't quite seen before. And I remember thinking, she's so funny in this way. I haven't seen anyone else quite do this.
It could have been a character that was just kind of there, but then it just became like a really funny character because how you did
so much fun doing that.
Yeah.
Beth.
With I think a little thong sticking out.
I did have a thong too.
Not that I remember.
Yeah, you really remember that.
I was escorted out of that movie 4 times.
You kept coming back in?
Yeah, I kept coming in and saying, it's my right! It's weird.
I have not seen that movie in a long time, but you know who did was my friend's kid who's 13.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
He's like, so he had a bar mitzvah, and then he watched the 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm like literally his like auntie.
And now
What
he'd
are
like
you
to
doing?
speak with you, if possible.
I was like, what were you thinking? He's like, I kind of forgot about that part. Like, really?
Also, you have, I mean, in the comedy world, like people like Paul Rudd, you really click with him as well.
Yeah, I've worked with Paul like 6 times or something. No, maybe like 4 or 5. A bunch.
A lot.
Yeah, I mean, he never calls me.
Well, that's Rudd. That's just how he is.
Just busy being
His phone's
Ant-Man.
Don't belittle.
He's belittled.
He is. He really is.
That's the whole point of it, Conan.
His whole power is that he is belittled. You're right. You're right. How dare you belittle Ant-Man? Paul, wherever you are, we're sorry. It feels to me like in your career, I mean, I loved you on 30 Rock, and I think that was supposed to be just, I mean, it wasn't planned to be a recurring role.
No.
And then you came on as Jack Donaghy's
yes,
lady.
love interest.
At love interest. And how quickly did you know, oh, this is going places?
Well, I went in I had 2 episodes, I think, was the initial like offer. Like, come in, do a little quick thing, 2 episodes. I was playing, this Fox News type newscaster. And then like a month or so later, it was like, hey, did you like doing that? You want to come back and do this with us? I was like, sure. And then it was like 3 years later, and suddenly I was pregnant with this baby, and we were getting married.
That's nice.
So it's pretty nice.
And
yeah, I really enjoyed working on that show. Loved it.
And then of course, Pitch Perfect is where it felt like things really ramp up in a great way, because you get more control. You get to move closer into a different role.
Well, my husband and I, who have a company together, Brownstone Productions, we produced Pitch Perfect, all 3 of those, and I directed the second one, and it was my first foray into doing making more of my Hollywood life, I guess, and just acting and hanging out by the phone waiting for somebody to call.
But it's occurring to me now. I'm remembering that Lucille Ball. You see photos of her in the 1940s. Stunning. I mean,
gorgeous.
like you, a leading lady who then,
But definitely a character. Like, she's someone that's who I should have named when I was naming those.
Right, but
you know what? Can we edit that?
No, we can't afford that.
Make sure
there's no money for that.
I didn't mean to say Audrey Hepburn. Fuck Audrey Hepburn. I meant to
It's
say
about time
Lucille Ball.
someone went after Audrey Hepburn.
I went to say Lucille Ball is
But
who
you
I
know,
was
when you
going to
see,
be.
you know,
Which is
people
true.
think of her as Lucy and and the you know,
Luscious.
and you see pictures of her in the 40s, and she's just drop dead, supermodel gorgeous, and then to have those kind of comedy chops, but then she and her
Business
husband
chops.
take over. They figure out a way to own the factory. And
I think they had the largest deal at CBS that had ever happened at that point.
Yeah.
At some point. I think now Ryan Murphy has one of those, or Shonda Rhimes has a bigger one.
Right.
In the day, that would have been Lucy and Desi's.
Yeah, but also I don't think it had been done before.
No.
I don't think anybody had done that.
I mean,
taken control,
of the whole thing.
Yeah, and I think that there used to be just a different attitude. I mean, obviously in the 20s and 30s and 40s, like, shut up and act. Don't worry your pretty little head about it.
Yeah.
We'll take care of this. And
suddenly they were like, no, you can't do any of it without us. We own the whole thing. Yeah, it was amazing. They were incredible. They were incredible at business too.
Yeah.
Something to truly strive for. Yeah.
I don't know why recently I switched over. I had this bad habit of I drink a lot of diet soda.
Oh.
And people have been telling me that's not good for you. So I switched over to iced green tea. And I think I'm going to live an extra day. And that's it. I am of that mind because my wife is very much, she's so naturally healthy.
Yeah.
And I'm quite fatalistic about it. I mean, that might be sort of an Irish quality. But I just think, you go and you go. And so all this, I think I could eat all kinds of healthy stuff and drink all kinds of healthy stuff, which I do, but I don't think it's going to change things much.
It's a tough call, right? Because you want to prolong your life, but you also want to enjoy your life. So where do you draw the line?
Well, I would like to be a burden on my children.
Okay, that's
so
already happened.
I want to do that thing where I become very old very quickly, and then I have to. I'm just a huge pain in the ass.
Okay.
I feel like after a while, people will just leave you in your wheelchair, just like in the corner. Yeah. I'm sorry, I was just checking. That's a lot of caffeine.
Is it?
Isn't it?
Well, green tea has less caffeine than coffee.
I know, but the amount he's drinking.
I do, but you know what? Caffeine does not affect me.
Are you sure?
Yes, this is a fact, and you can check this.
Where would I check this fact?
I know. How would we know if
my wife? You could ask my wife. I will drink coffee at night and then go to sleep.
How do
I
you
can
do
have.
that?
I've had massive doses of coffee and then gone right to sleep, and they say that it's a gene. That it's. They say it's a red-haired thing, but I need tons of anesthetic to put me down.
Really?
Yeah. No, they have to hit me with like 7 rhino darts when I go to the dentist if they just want to put drill a new cavity. Because they're always saying, okay, that's enough. And then they start to put the drill in and I go, "Day-day!" And they say, really? More? And I go, ah! And then they come in and sometimes I've seen as many as like 7 people come in with different syringes.
It's because you're so caffeinated.
I know. They're all jabbing at my head, and then finally they get this crazy cobra to settle down, and they work on my chompies, which is what I call my teeth.
Really?
Crazy cobra.
Yeah.
Crazy cobra and the chompies?
And the chompies. That's my band. I'm crazy. It's Crazy Cobra and the Chompies tonight at the Odeon Theater.
Is it true, the redheaded thing in anesthesia?
I've heard that.
Really?
Yes.
Sounds
and
reliable.
I've heard it from doctors. I actually heard it from an anesthetician that they think that there is a link to the red-haired gene and a tolerance for all kinds of anesthetics.
Was this anesthetologist redheaded?
Yeah.
No.
Is being redheaded, and I'm not saying this to be mean, is it an abnormality? Like, is there something about your genetic structure that is...
Are you a freak?
Weird and not proper?
Well, I wouldn't recommend it. How about that? Because it usually means you have very fair skin, which I do.
Yeah.
Which means I'm really, especially these days, with the amount of light coming from the sun that permeates our damaged atmosphere. Yeah, I'm doomed. No, we are, but it's a very strange gene. Like my brothers and sisters we're not redheads. And when I look at these pictures of me as a little kid, and my hair was even brighter. It was like a carrot red.
It's like a glitch. It's like having webbed feet.
Well, I do have webbed feet. You know that, right? You know that.
When
Prove
I
it.
said it,
Eduardo.
I'll
when
do
I
it under
said
the
it,
table because I think
yeah.
it's a little disgusting.
I remember you saying this when I said it. I didn't know that you did, but
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, this is like when I showed my back. Oh God, look at that.
Yes, my third and fourth toe? There's webbing in between it.
did your mom, did she I don't know, was she drinking?
Well, she was drinking plutonium in the second and third trimester.
You're like the Waterworld guy. You're like a mariner. You can swim faster. Do
He's
you have
evolved.
gills? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'm more highly evolved because I have webbing on one of my feet between
Yeah.
the third and fourth toe. You know what's a drag for me?
Swimming.
The
No. I'm
sun?
quite a good swimmer. No, what's a drag for me is if I wanted, and I don't, but I was in like an REI once, and I love REI, and I say that all the time, but it's like my happy place. I love to look at all the different gear. And I went over to the like boot section to check everything out, and they had those kind of cool things that you put on your feet, and it's like a rubbery glove that goes on your feet that allows your foot to move more naturally, and they're designed in such a way so that each toe
You're
slides
calling
in.
those cool?
The toe shoes.
The toe shoes.
Yeah,
The
you
ones
dodged
that-
a bullet.
Yeah.
Hold on. This person was telling me all the advantages of them. This is a very sad moment in my life. This woman was saying, "Oh, it's great for this and great for that." And I said, "Well, I'll try one on." So she went and she started to slide it on my foot, and because of my webbing, it stopped. And she kept pushing. And she said, "What's wrong? I can't get this on." And I was like, And then she took it off and she went, Monster! Monster!
The rhino darts.
Yeah, I mean, it was just my webbing.
Yeah.
Now, I know that I don't really think those are cool, but you know when you can't have something, you only want it more?
Yeah.
So the other day I'm walking along and I see this guy strolling in those same feet gloves, and he's strolling along, and I'm enraged that I
Really?
can't have that.
Oh,
Yeah.
you dodged a bullet. Those shoes would give me toe claustrophobia. I couldn't put those on.
Toe claustrophobia.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm going to say. I have heard those shoes are better, but I also think your abnormalities,
Stop. Why are you?
which are
Stop saying
like your freckles
abnormalities.
too, probably aren't. I'm saying there are normal people, and then there's abnormal people with abnormal qualities.
What's sad about freckles? You're not trying. You're not trying at all. You're just.
I'm being scientific about this. It's not normal to be a redhead.
I'm like 2 minutes from being chased into a tower
Yeah.
that's then set afire
Yeah.
by an angry mid-century mob.
Yeah.
What's sad about freckles is that it's a terrible idea, but its evolution was thinking, we got to help this guy out a little bit. Let's give him a little bit of skin tone in tiny splotches here and there all over his body. And I'm just keep thinking about wherever the assembly line is, wherever dimension the assembly line is, they're like, oh, he has no melanin. He's just the whitest thing we've ever seen. Give him some protection. What do you mean? Splatter him with a little bit. Okay, we did. It doesn't look right. Hey, change his hair to a carroty orange. How's that? Does that help? Not really. I've got it. Grab his left foot and create a duck-like webbing between his third and fourth toe.
Should we do both feet?
No!
Oh, okay.
What are you, stupid?
Sorry.
Just the left. Good. I think he's ready to go. Hey, I know. One last thing. Load him up with self-hate. And pull the lever. There he goes. Where did he land? In that family where everyone's yelling.
Hey, my grandpa was a redheaded fellow, and I have very fond
And
memories.
how was he murdered?
By himself. No. I have very fond memories of him, and I think you're a fine-looking, distinguished gentleman.
Thank you. I
What the
appreciate
fuck?
that. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Well, listen,
I'm the asshole now.
you are.
I'm the asshole.
Well, you know what you
Yeah.
did.
I'm saying scientifically, these things are not given to everybody else. You're saying in the assembly line, they're like, "Oh, fix it." I think in the assembly line, they were like, "Let's fuck this one up."
Jeez. She's saying you're abnormal scientifically.
I'm just saying.
Let's fuck this one up. Who on the assembly line ever says that? What Keebler elf ever? What technician at Ford or Chrysler or BMW ever said, "Let's fuck this one up"?
They're like, let's make him really tall and skinny too.
Oh, man.
Let's give him really long feet
There's a
and make him
reason.
super tall.
There's a reason a lot of people aren't redheads. I'm just saying.
What's the reason?
Because it's not normal.
Well,
I'm sorry.
no, I'm good.
I love you. You know I love you.
I know you love me.
Yes,
the way Cher loved the boy in Mask.
Rocky Dennis.
Yeah, sure. I'll throw in a Rocky Dennis reference anytime. Thanks a lot, Sona. I love you too, and I'm gonna go out and fit myself for a bag that goes on my head. All right, let's get into it.
Hi, my name is Nora Jones, and I feel ecstatic about being Conan O'Brien's friend.
Wow, ecstatic, really?
Yeah, I do.
That's it. That's fun. I've adored you for so many years, and you were kind enough to come on my late night show, or in shows plural, I'll say, over the years.
Oh, well, I was trying
Many
to figure out
times.
how many times.
You know what? We could probably look it up, but
Yeah.
you came on. That's okay. The minute I said
everybody get going.
that, 9
Look it up.
people in the room started getting on their computers.
Oh,
you
no,
would-
I got some medical results.
Yeah, you started crying. Don't worry, 6 months is a long time.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, my God.
Too long in this job.
Yeah, okay, take it easy. We're sitting here with
I
Nora
know,
Jones.
sorry,
I am not going to
sorry.
waste time bantering with you about your life expectancy. You came on many times and in so many different guises because you would perform yourself. You'd be performing your work. And then I remember we did a George week once in honor of
yeah.
George Harrison. And, Paul Simon came. All these amazing people came by for the week. Danny Harrison was around, and it was this wonderful week. And you came, and I'm trying to think.
I did Behind That Locked
Oh,
Door.
Behind That Locked Door. Okay.
It was so fun. That was one of our, actually, I remember my band and I, because we'd done a lot of TV shows together at that point. That was probably one of our best TV performances. Usually you do it and you're like, it would have been better if this. And we were like, yes, nailed it.
Yeah, the problem is you did that on camera. You turned to the camera
We
and said,
high-fived.
yes, nailed it.
Mid-song, too.
Yeah.
It was weird.
And then you said, top that, other musicians in the
Yeah,
world.
better than George's version.
Yeah, better than George. When you started dancing and saying better than Harrison.
Yeah, that's right.
That put a lot of people off. No, you were, I was trying to remember what song it was this morning, and I could have just typed in, because we live in that world where I can type in, Nora Jones, George Harrison, Conan, or whatever, and it would come up immediately. But I can't work my own phone. I can't turn it on.
That's less fun anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So, but you came on that week, and you were always coming by and performing, and I just loved it every time you came on the show. I'm a
Thanks.
massive fan, and so
I'm a massive fan. I remember the first time I came on your show was for my first record.
2002.
In 2002,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
right.
And I was so excited.
Oh, well, I remember you, of course, that was the record, Come Away With Me, 5 Grammys. I remembered at that time finding out about you, hearing about you, and saying, who is this Nora Jones? What is this all about? I'm very skeptical. What is this Come Away With Me album? I better check it out and see if it's up to snuff. And listening to it and thinking, I don't understand how someone your age at the time, or anybody, could come out with an album of all brand new standards. It was like, these are all going to be in standards books that everyone has to have forever. And I was like everyone else in the world, like 85 billion other people, completely floored.
Well, that's nice to say.
Yeah, and I remember whoever was playing guitar with you, I think you did Don't Know Why, and he offered to show me how to play it on the guitar afterwards.
Really?
And so he came into, I don't know who it was, but he came into my dressing room and he's showing me how to play the guitar parts. And I was like, I think I got it. And then we got into a lot of stuff, and edits and work, and we got to figure out tomorrow's show. And then I got home, completely forgot.
I think it's a hard song to play on guitar.
Yeah, it's probably not in my wheelhouse.
It's not in my wheelhouse. It was either Jesse Harris who wrote the song or Adam Levy who toured with me at the time. But that's really fun.
I think it was the person who wrote the song.
Then it was Jesse Harris.
Yeah.
He was a good
Jesse,
friend
I
of
need
mine.
you to come back. I need another lesson.
He'll probably send you a video if you just give me your phone number.
No, I need him in person.
Yeah.
And he needs to fly out to LA at his own expense. That I do require. I wanted to mention first that you have your own podcast, which I've really been enjoying.
Thanks.
It's Nora Jones is playing along, and what's nice about it is that you get these people, it's two musicians talking and screwing around, and it's a very loose atmosphere. And I was listening to you with Jeff Tweedy, who's one of my favorite humans.
Yeah, mine too.
And it was such a great vibe. And I was thinking, man, I'd like to be on this podcast. And then I realized, oh, right, I'm not a musician.
Except you are.
Well, not really, but does it ever expand out to non-musicians?
If they're playing music with me. I think my way in is, there's so many podcasts, of course.
Right. Yes.
And you guys were kind of a big inspiration because over the pandemic, I just, hearing you guys laugh really lit me up. And
that's nice. Good.
It just like belly laughs were needed, and it felt really good. And you screwing around with people on this podcast is kind of like what I want to do, except I'm a musician, so it's a little bit different.
No, but it's the same idea. We talk about this a lot on the show, but I've been fascinated all my life with the fact that I have a natural, bent towards comedy, but the grass is always greener. I'm always peering over into the music yard.
I see that.
And thinking, man, that's so cool. That's the cool place to be. I'm over here with the laughing clowns. Sorry, not you guys.
Are we the?
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
You're
I
the
never don't
laughing
think of you as
clown.
comedians at all.
Oh, well,
I do. I do.
Thank
I
you,
think you
Nora
guys are
Jones.
hilarious.
Thank you, Nora Jones.
I mean, what do I know? I'm just a
Thank
musician.
you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, you don't have a professional eye like
Yes.
I do. Nora, couldn't possibly understand how
Take that,
inferior they are.
laughing clown.
But like hearing you with Kevin Nealon, just
Yeah.
like messing around, I mean,
Right.
that makes me so happy. And I feel like that's kind of what I'm trying to do with music, with people who I know, some who I don't know. And
Yeah.
we find this common place and we're speaking like the same language.
Well,
you
this
know?
is what always fascinates me because if there's something that you don't do, you put it on a pedestal or you don't have a natural inclination. So
Mhm.
when I see you sit down at a piano and play and sing, I think, well, she's superhuman. I am immortal. I said amortal, not immortal. I just want to be really clear. There is such a close connection between comedy and music.
Yeah.
There's jamming, riffing, whatever we call it, riffing. I guess you guys jam. Who knows what everyone calls it? But when you sit down and you communicate with each other,
Yeah.
and you're doing it musically, and I do think there's a musical element to if I'm with Kevin Nealon or any of these hilarious people, sometimes I forget what we're even doing, but we're all laughing. And I can't even tell you afterwards how we got there. And I
Yeah.
think maybe that's what it's like in music.
It's the same. I mean, you could do a perfect take of a song and it just doesn't feel right. Or you can do a really messed up, messy version of a song together and it just feels magical. And it hits the spot,
I was thinking about your path, your journey, and I was thinking about how growing up, because I know your mom and dad divorce when you're pretty young.
They were never married, but
They were never married.
But yeah.
So they were living in sin, as we Catholics say.
I mean, I honestly, I don't even know. Their story's so crazy. I don't even know what was going on. But
Really? After all these years, you still don't know what was going on?
I've heard a lot of different versions. I'll put it that way. But I think they split up when I was really young. So I grew up with my mom.
Right. And this is an interesting thing in Grapevine, Texas.
Yeah.
And so what's interesting is that you have, for anyone who doesn't know, your dad, Ravi Shankar, you come, and your mom as well, both have this musical pedigree, this musical background. So there's some of that, but then you're transplanted to Texas.
Yeah.
And I think that's got to be fascinating because you grew up in this environment that had to have influenced you. I mean, if you had grown up in New York City, do you know what I mean?
Or in India.
With
my dad.
With your dad, you might not be you at this moment. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, my history is very different. I mean, it's interesting because I'm a musician, and he passed away, but he was this brilliant musician, Indian musician. And my mom is not a musician, but she loved music. So I grew up with my mom, seeing my dad here and there, and then not seeing him for a long period. And then we reconnected later, but growing up, I was influenced by my mom's record collection.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So who were you listening to?
Ray Charles and Aretha Franklin and Willie Nelson.
So this is what's fascinating. So you grow up and you're listening to those people, and you're in this, what I imagine is this, is it a small town in Texas?
Grapevine is a huge, sprawling town now, but when I was little, it was small.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you're growing up in this environment, and you were not that connected to the pop music of your time. Is that right?
I was in middle school. I loved Casey Kasem's Top 40 every Sunday. Like, I was obsessed with that for a while.
I just listened to Casey. I would turn off the music. I just fell in love with the voice of Casey Kasem. And,
who's going to be number one?
Yeah. You can buy bootlegs where it's just Casey and then you don't hear the music. I have all of them. They're awful.
There are Casey Kasem bootlegs. I don't know if you've heard of them.
I have.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like,
Where he loses it.
Yeah.
Oh,
He has a
no.
meltdown.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
We should start releasing mine where I have a meltdown.
Oh, yeah, there's a
I
lot.
want to hear those.
You can actually physically hear me hitting gourley. But so you were somewhat aware, but you were, I guess, jazz was jazz a bigger part of your life?
It was after a certain point, but I was really into Nirvana and the Violent Femmes at one point, and then maybe like 9th grade, I got really into jazz.
Okay.
And then that's all there was for like the next 5 years. That's all I was obsessed with.
I'm so intimidated by jazz.
So a lot of people are, even I am, because I'm not really a great jazz musician. It's kind of where I came from musically, but I never practiced enough to really hang with, real jazz musicians and a jam session.
Yeah.
Jazz, that's exactly what they call themselves.
Yeah, I've always thought of jazz music as, you're sitting at the sushi bar and they're like, it's chef's choice. And you don't know exactly. It scares me a little bit, and that's just because I have some mental block. I was all about rockabilly, crazy intense rockabilly, and that was the stuff that pulled me in, and kind of lit me up. I inspired me in so many ways.
It's great music,
but very, very simple, extremely rudimentary. And that was maybe part of the magic for me, is I could play it.
I feel you. I mean, that's why I love country songs, and sometimes you just cut straight to the heart of something with the most simple thing. I think I can't play fast jazz either, so we're in it together. in that term.
There are so many ways in which we're similar.
Yeah, and that's
people are always calling me the Norah Jones of comedy.
We can't play fast jazz
Because they.
I think they call you the Jim Jones of comedy.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry, because I'm leading my followers to pure destruction. Yeah. Well, either way, I'm fine either way. And either way, it's a compliment as far as I'm concerned. Okay. But what's amazing is that you grow up listening to these people, and then if you could ever imagine that, okay, you're a huge Willie Nelson fan, Ray Charles fan, you're going to be playing with these people. You did a duet with Ray Charles.
Yeah, I did. I mean,
what was that
crazy.
like? What was Ray Charles like?
He was very nice. We went in for 20 minutes. We did 3 takes of the song, and that was it. But we were all live in the room together. It was amazing. He was sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I know that you have this much longer lasting connection with Willie Nelson.
I've been so lucky to play and sing with Willie like multiple times. I love him so much.
Yeah, he is such a great spirit.
Yeah. Did you see they're having a big show at the Hollywood Bowl for his 90th birthday?
90th birthday.
In April.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is a great advertisement that marijuana is not bad for you.
Exactly.
He and Snoop Dogg will live to be 600.
Yeah.
You know, what's amazing to me is I'm thinking about the first time I met Willie Nelson. He came on my late night show in the early days, and he had that incredible beat up guitar he has.
Oh, Trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That he's played forever. Is it a Martin?
It's a nylon string. That's
string.
all I remember. But,
Yeah, it's a
but he
nylon-
puts it through an amp,
Yeah, he puts it through an amp,
which is
I think
totally cool.
right. He's got a little drop-in, pickup.
Yeah.
And he plays it through an amp, and it's got a hole in it, as if it had been recovered
Yeah.
somewhere, and a rat had eaten through
Yeah,
it.
not the sound hole. It's got a separate.
No, it's
No,
got
no.
a gaping.
It's got its
hole.
own. There's the sound hole, and then there's this thing that looks like a ferret clawed its way into the guitar, or clawed its way out, and it's covered in signatures.
Yeah.
And it's all these people. He's had Trigger forever, and it's everyone has signed. He's had all these amazing people sign Trigger, and the show's over. And I said, that's just incredible. He's got like George Jones's signature. He's got all these. He's got everybody. And there's Tammy Wynette, and there's but all these public. And he said, yeah, sign it, Conan. And I said, no, we shall not sully this. And he's like, come on. And so I signed it with like a ballpoint pen.
Wow.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that when
could
Willie
you?
got backstage, he wiped it off.
Yeah.
That's cool. I don't think I've signed Trigger.
That was a dry erase marker.
Exactly. I said, I'll use my pen. He went, no, use this one. Wipes off easily.
We haven't done voicemails in a while. I think it's time.
Okay. You know, I'm always a little on edge because I feel I'll be criticized.
You always say that, and then I never give you any that are critical.
So you're saying there are ones that are
I'm
critical
not saying that.
you just did.
I'm saying I never give you any that are critical. I was going to maybe go on to say there are no critical ones.
I don't think you were, but it's okay. There's got to be.
But
this is America, where 50% of people hate the other 50%. They can't all agree on
This is
Conan
a
O'Brien.
voluntary thing where people call in and they're already fans of yours. This is not going to be the place where there's craziness in there for sure. But
Good. Well, that's how you know they're my people.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's. I'm ready. I've prepared myself.
Okay, Eduardo, punch it.
Hey, Conan. This is State Senator Kathy Breen. I'm calling from Maine, and I'm calling to see if you are familiar with the retired presidential yacht, which is called the USS Sequoia. Given that you are such a history buff, I wanted you to know that the ship is being restored here in Maine at a shipyard in Belfast, and I wanted to invite you to come and see the ship sometime during its restoration, which will be over the next few years. It's an amazing vessel, literally, American history that will just blow your mind when you realize all the many events and historic figures who spent time on the yacht. It was in service from the time of President Wilson until President Carter, and it's really just an amazing gem of U.S. history, and it's here in Maine for a few years getting restored. So I wanted to invite you to that and find out if you're familiar with it and see if you might want to come to Maine and see it.
Wow. That was State Senator Kathy Breen. I am aware of the Sequoia.
I didn't know about this.
Well, I could be wrong, but I think this was the presidential yacht that is featured in the movie Nixon. Remember the movie Nixon that was made by Oliver Stone?
With Anthony Hopkins?
With Anthony Hopkins as Nixon. Nixon used to love to, I think, get in the Sequoia, if I'm thinking of the right ship, and he used to like to sail up the Potomac, and that was like his idea of fun. Which actually does sound fun, but he'd bring like Haldeman and Ehrlichman and Kissinger, which sounds less fun. And they would sit around and go like, I think we're going to get away with it. You're going to get away with it, sir. Yeah, boss, you're going to get away with it. I really do. Hey, let's take it up to 20 knots. What do you say, guys? And so I think it was that kind of deal on the Sequoia, but it's portrayed in Oliver Stone's movie. They're all on the Sequoia. And I have to say, I've enjoyed some of Oliver Stone's work, but sometimes he has a heavy touch.
I'll say.
And so if there's one scene in here which really was like, oh, that's too much, where Anthony Hopkins as Nixon is on the Sequoia and they're saying, Mr. President, what should we do about Cambodia? And he's like, bomb them all. And then someone says, oh, but Mr. President, there could be loss of life. I don't care. Bomb. And then just then the chef says, Mr. President, your steak. And he puts a steak in front of him. Nixon just then goes to cut into the steak and it's all red and juicy. And he goes, blood, too much blood. And I'm like, oh my God. Well, he then did turn into a bat and flutter away. But you know what I mean? I was like, come on, Oliver Stone. I don't care. Bomb them all. Here's some steak. Blood. I must go back to my ancestral Transylvania. But I believe that is a moment in film that depicts the president on the Sequoia.
Well, we should get you on that yacht and you can recreate that scene with some steak.
I will, but you know what? We have to act quickly because the Sequoia is being restored, according to State Senator Kathy Breen, over a 4-year period. We've got no time to waste. I would like to see it, though.
Yeah,
sure.
I would too,
You like that stuff.
Oh, I love
any piece of any sort of history. You're like,
well, I
oh,
wouldn't
this is
say
a plate that Reagan used. You're like, what? A plate? Oh my
wait
God!
a minute. I think that's.
Can I hold
get that.
it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
Yeah.
it's a plate.
Especially
That's
that
cool.
era, late Cold War era.
Yes,
Oh,
I'm with
man.
you. I find that when someone, you
Pure
famously,
arousal.
yeah, I mean, you have Eisenhower's phone. We talked about this once, and you brought it in, and I thought that was cool, and I'm fascinated by that stuff. So
Yeah.
I would love to take a quick tour of the Sequoia, and I think it's a very nice invitation.
Yeah.
And
Because Sona, did you ever have to do like duck and cover drills in school for nuclear war, or was
Not
it just
for nuclear
earthquakes?
war, but
Yeah.
for earthquakes. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's I think something that shapes a child, that when you have that existential fear of dying from the Cold War,
Yeah.
that at no warning. You know?
Today at my kids' school, they do the same thing, duck and cover, but it's for a nut allergy.
Oh God, I can't even. I
That's-
can't.
Come on,
that was
how-
a solid joke.
I know. Was it?
That's how
though?
things have
Was
changed.
it a little cheesy?
Oh, but I mean, come on.
Come on.
I don't
Come
know.
on.
It was for
We're
a
having
nut
fun.
allergy.
Hey.
Hello.
We're
Is
having
this thing
fun.
on?
Come
Yeah.
on, we're
That's
a
what it feels-
family. We're having fun.
Hey, it's time to duck and cover. Someone used the wrong pronoun. Boing. I'm just saying, times have changed. Times have changed. Anyway, welcome to our Joe Rogan moment.
I know.
I hope you enjoyed
I
it.
know.
Yeah, I would check it out. I would
I'll
check
check out a ship.
Well, first of all,
First of all, check out a mic.
Yeah, you just lay down. The mic
you're
is 7
3
feet from you.
I'll check out a ship.
Yeah, well, first of all, you're not invited. She didn't say Sona. She said Conan.
Why
by
did she
implication,
call?
Matt.
She called the podcast. She called the podcast.
You know what? You're right. And I don't often admit I'm wrong, but you're right.
You never admit you're wrong.
I just did.
I know.
Gummy just hit.
Yeah. The
Look
gummy.
at this one.
What is with you?
I don't know.
It's one thing
You're
that you're
such a
reclining,
goofball
but
today.
Your
You said
hand
that-
is on your belly.
I know because I don't know. Okay.
But also, can I say, no, stay there, Sona. This is nice. I like the way you are right now.
I'm very comfortable right
But
now.
you know what I love? How entitled are you that you're in that position and you had your hand on your belly and you went, I'd check out the presidential yacht.
No.
That's
My
a lot
God.
of entitlement. That is so
Yeah.
your generation.
You millennials.
How dare you?
millennials.
Yeah.
What is your deal with nut allergies and pronouns in my generation, bruh? I think that's why I'm like this right now. You're aging yourself, and I'm getting younger.
Yeah, and more Jamaican.
I'm repping the
Bruh.
millennials. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. No,
The mills.
I'm just saying you grew up in a very different world where, okay, you had an earthquake drill, but we grew up under a constant existential threat of nuclear war, and that shaped Gourley and I and made us the cold warriors we are
I'm a
today.
walking ball of anxiety because of that.
That's not true.
It's true. It's totally true.
You know what? Every generation has their own existential fears.
Yes.
No one gets out scot-free. We all are as we always will be and always have been. I'm a wise man who can see things that others can't see.
You belong on a presidential yacht.
I do. I've got to get on
I'll
the
check
Sequoia.
out a yacht.
Of course you will. Well, anyway, it's a very kind invitation, Kathy, and I will try to make this happen because I would love to see this Sequoia. And I hope I'm right about my my Nixon reference. I believe that's the ship that he used to take up, and his favorite thing to do was sail up to Mount Vernon. I read this somewhere. I think he used to like to sail up to Mount Vernon, Washington's home, and I think by this point they were all loaded. They were drinking the whole way, and when they got to Mount Vernon, they would fire off a military salute, probably taking the chimney off of Mount Vernon, and then turn around and come back. So those are good times. I wish I had a yacht with a cannon on it. That's what I wish I had.
Yeah.
Have I mentioned this? I was driving through Missouri. I was in a car. I was by myself. My car was overheating. So I pulled into the Truman Presidential Library parking lot, and my radiator overheated and green goo went all over their parking lot. And a docent from the Truman Library came out and started yelling at me. And I put my car back into drive and grinding cylinders the whole way, tore out of there.
Straight to the Eisenhower.
Yeah,
Library.
leaving a bunch of muck behind, steaming muck behind me, and a furious docent. So my apologies to the Truman Presidential Library.
Sona, what's your presidential library story?
I have a car story.
You mean you were in a Lincoln?
Oh!
Huh? I know. I've been to the Reagan Library. I went to the Carter Library with you.
Yep.
I met President Carter.
Yeah, that's
which
right.
was really nice. Yeah.
I introduced you to not just the president, but the First Lady, Rosalind Carter, was there
I
as well.
started crying.
You did start crying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when we took a photo, he said I could stand next to him in the photo, which was really nice. And yeah.
It's a great photo. It's the four
it's
of
a
us.
wonderful photo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, it was a really nice thing. I mean, they like were talking, and then his assistants were like, you can go in there if you want after they're done meeting. And I
Yeah.
was like, I can.
Yeah.
I was like, me?
Yeah.
It was really.
And you
sad.
know what Carter didn't have? A nut allergy. Peace out. Mic drop. What's your process? I've never written a song. I play guitar. I often have a guitar with me. I play guitar all the time. I love it. I'm always playing other people's music. I've never tried to write a song, and I think I have a block against it. I don't think I could be emotionally vulnerable and write a song. If I wrote a song, it would be...
There's a lot of people that aren't emotionally vulnerable in their song.
Oh, that's true.
Like a Chumbawamba song, you know?
Oh, get knocked down!
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess that has vulnerability in it, now that I think about it. Like, do you think WAP has a lot of vulnerability?
Oh my
Like,
God.
you could have, like, a hype anthem. Like, maybe that's more of your
Maybe
direction,
that more
you know?
like a bragging,
Yeah.
I'm all that.
Yeah.
No one wants to probably hear me open up about my inner hurt.
No.
I mean, maybe they do.
No, they
But
don't.
there are many, ins.
Oh my God! You know what I also saw? I mean, I know this has probably been commented on a lot, but we went over and saw Megan Thee Stallion perform, and there's a woman doing sign language.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure they all notice this, and it's been talked about in their videos. But I was in the crowd watching this woman. She's singing
fast,
the lyrics.
Yeah.
She's singing the lyrics, and it is hardcore. And this woman who looks like she would, break into a telethon on PBS and say, if you'd like to get your tote bag, the number is 1-323-44. This woman's there, and she's acting out with her hands
Yeah.
the most graphic stuff with no expression on her face.
Oh, no.
No.
Some of them are really, like, stoked, though. Like, they
Yeah.
have, like, their own performance
Right.
style.
Right. That's a whole other...
And they,
I
like,
mean,
dance along
I've
with it.
seen
while
those.
they're, like,
Those are
singing.
fun. Yeah. Especially at rap
But-
shows.
yeah.
They're amazing because they know all the stuff beforehand and they get really into it.
Right.
I mean, you could go down a YouTube rabbit hole of sign language interpreters.
I was blown away by that. I mean, I had a hard time paying attention to Megan Thee Stallion. Because my eyes were riveted on this woman. I was just amazed by and what she was...
Her deadpan, like...
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't exactly deadpan, but
Yeah.
she also looked like I might have to leave soon to close the library. It's... But I don't know how you... Do you consciously sit down to write a song, or does something come to you?
Yeah, I feel like very... when I was younger, I feel like I was, like, waiting for the spirit to possess me or something. But now I feel like it's more of, like, a faucet, Like, I feel like I put myself in an environment that I know is going to be conducive to, like, writing. Like, I go into, like, a forest or something, like a cottage in the woods and write songs.
And you write on the guitar.
I do usually write on the guitar. For the last record, I kind of tried to like find new ways to push myself out of my comfort zone and write on piano, or sometimes I actually just draw like on a MIDI board of like, because I don't have like a very strong theory knowledge, so if I can like hear the chord I want, it's actually really helpful. You can like drag a bar of like a, do you know what MIDI is?
I don't.
It's just like a I don't know, like you can like drag a note sort of like on a graph, and like it will make a sound.
Is it a program?
Can you please explain that? Yeah.
It's a language.
Yeah.
So it's like a computer language that allows you to write music. You can transpose every note or chord via this MIDI language, and it'll spit out the note, and you can make chords. And it's the way all modern music is now mostly made, via computers.
So you could say if you knew, okay, it's a G, but it's not a G. I want it to have something. I want it to have a slightly different. You could on MIDI maybe play with the G and get a G suspended 7th,
right,
9th,
yeah,
without knowing that that's what you're getting.
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah. So you can like have the G on the bass, and then like with another note, like drag it until it makes the sound. You're like, oh, it's that chord, and that would take me a much longer time to find on the guitar with my personal knowledge.
Do you think that learning theory might actually get in the way of your creative process ever?
Yeah, I mean, I started taking some lessons. I mean, I hear that, but in my experience, like even just like learning a very, very small amount of theory has been really helpful for me. Because you're just like, oh, I can't believe I got this far without like knowing what makes certain songs.
I'm just curious because I've never had any of that, and I'm now, even at this stage in life, thinking, I think I need a teacher now. I mean, it's been years and years and years of me having people kind of show me songs I want to play or riffs I want to play. And so I think I have a jukebox when I pick up a guitar, there's a lot of songs I can play.
Yeah.
But I don't know how the hell it all works.
Right.
And maybe knowing how it worked would be fun for me at this stage.
I think so. And I think that like even if you learn too much in a way that inhibits you, there's always ways to like kind of unlearn it. Like I found that I took, some more guitar lessons and found that was helpful. And then when it was no longer helpful, then you can just like put a capo on or change the tuning, and then you don't know anymore what you're doing. So I feel like there are weird tricks to like get to protect yourself from that ruining something. But for me, I found it to be really helpful. And I feel like when you listen to music, I mean, there's a way to interact with music that's like, oh, that's like haunting, or that's interesting, or then, or that's just like a minor third,
Yep.
I feel like you're all like chasing, they're just like different ways to like chase a feeling or something.
All I ever heard when I was first playing guitar, some guy told me, minor chords are the ones that make girls fall in love with you. And I was like, really? And then sure enough, you play an A minor and you're like, well, I did and nothing happened. No one was interested. But you can kind of see like, oh, I see what minor chords do.
Yeah.
E is like, yeah, E, but E minor, he's kind of dreamy. Said no one. Well, I basically just tricked you into giving me guitar advice. Well, this has been a joy. It's been an absolute joy. Thank you for giving me street cred with my daughter.
Oh, I'm so...
Nev, I'm going to lord this over her. And she actually, last night, because I had read your book and had been listening a lot to your music, and then she called me last night to just make sure that I didn't screw things up today. So.
She sounds so cool. I feel very indebted to her.
She's very cool. But I'm indebted to her for bringing me to Coachella so that I got to see you do your thing. And I love that you came in and talked to me. This is amazing.
Thank you for having me. Thank you all.
Well, don't thank them. They don't really do much. He's on MIDI.
Defined MIDI, which was incredible.
Yeah, but he's been watching.
I had my own like Miss Pac-Man just like melting down.
MIDI, it's kind of a
you idiot.
And we gotta write that song. What is it? Thwang thubba da dubba da
Oh yeah, thwang thubba da thubba da thubba.
I'm telling you, that's gonna be huge. Hey there, it's Conan O'Brien. Welcome to Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. I'm chilling with my best buds. Oh, wait, no, I'm not. I'm here with Sona and with Matt Gourley. Sorry, for a second I thought I was with my best friends ever.
Sona and I are best buds.
Yeah, we're besties.
I can sense that. You guys have a very strong connection.
Yeah.
I don't get it myself.
Day one.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even before that, I think just before All Space and Time.
Do you think you knew each other in past lives?
Yeah.
It's
When you
possible we ran into each other where we grew up.
That's right. We grew up a city apart from each other.
Yeah.
No, I meant like thousands of years ago. Were you guys doing the equivalent of a podcast near some ancient ruins?
No, she was Cleopatra and I was Mark Antony.
Yeah. I love how in past lives everyone's famous.
I know.
And I was not. I've looked into it.
Oh.
I was always a guy holding a shovel or being killed with a shovel.
Right.
Throughout history in all
Hopefully by
parts of the
us.
world. Yes,
Yeah.
by you.
Yeah.
I was killed by Napoleon with a shovel. And I was killed by Cleopatra with a shovel.
It's surprising you haven't been killed by a shovel yet in this life.
Yeah.
I've been attacked many times with shovels, but because we're in the modern era, I'm usually able to get to my car quickly. And the blows slide ineffectually off the hood of my car.
Okay.
Sona, are you comfortable tonight?
Today?
I'll say today, but it could be any time of day where we are. And I said tonight just to try and throw the listener off.
Oh, okay.
I don't want them to
me.
know
I
we're
didn't
in
know.
a windowless room. So
Yeah.
it might as well be nighttime, but it is not.
We just started. You were just outside and it's bright and it's sunny. But no, I'm chilly.
You're chilly.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, I wanted to address that because I don't care. And I wanted to make that clear. Because just before we started to record, Sona did this whole thing about, I'm kind of cold. And we all said, well, do you want to go get a jacket or something? And you said, no, but I'm slightly chilly, but not enough for, and I'm thinking, this is something I'm supposed to be thinking about? I, Conan O'Brien?
And then you bring it back while we're recording. You
I
bring the
want-
conversation back to it.
I want people to know what a silly fuss budget you are.
I want to talk about how it is cold in this studio, but not cold enough to like put on a jacket, but it's cold where you need some sort of layer on top of what you're wearing.
How about this? Here is a tissue. There's
Good
some tissues
Lord.
right next to me. What if I just drape these? I'm draping them onto Sona right
Okay,
now.
thank you.
There, I just draped. That shoulder should be 0.04% warmer.
Do you know how many times if you've said you were like cold or something, I'll be like, oh my God, I got to get a jacket because that was my job as an assistant.
Yeah, as if.
What do
I'm
you mean?
sorry.
I always cared about your comfort.
Even I'm not really buying that one.
I did.
You didn't. Famously didn't.
I didn't always, but I did sometimes.
Again, one of my favorite pictures is us somewhere, and I'm taking a selfie with like 15 people, a whole series of selfies, and in the foreground, Sona's ignoring me and having the largest pour of white wine I've seen in North America.
God bless you.
Well, I mean, all I'm saying is there have been times when you've been like, oh, I'm chilly or I'm warm, and I would have been like, oh, okay.
I don't think so. I honestly don't think so. And listen, I love you, but I honestly don't think so. That is not your instinct.
Yeah, it is.
Now, I've seen that it's your instinct with your children.
Right.
But no, it was never your instinct
I
with me.
care about their comfort more than I've ever cared about yours. But
Yes.
I birthed them. I worked for you, but I didn't birth you. So
Well,
I
glad-
think
you know what? There was a huge misunderstanding here. I could have sworn that you birthed me. What are you talking about? We all know that.
Was working
Besides-
for him as painful as birthing a child?
Yeah.
though?
it was worse. I needed an epidural every day.
Yeah.
Push, Sona, push! Just get through the day with Conan. Push!
I have a
Push!
standing appointment with an anesthesiologist just to come in here.
Yeah.
Anesthesiologist.
You had trouble with it,
It was
right?
because I'm on anesthesiology.
All I'm saying is I was a little chilly and people like Matt offered me his jacket. Blay was like, I could go get yours. And you didn't do anything or say anything.
I don't have a jacket with me.
But you have a comfy looking sweater.
I
You
do.
can
I
take
wore a
that off.
sweater. I just thought, you know what? I saw Banshees of Inisherin, and I've decided to wear sweaters a lot now. And I want to dress like everyone in Banshees of Inisherin.
It's Los Angeles.
I know,
But
but I'm
it's
going to
cold
commit.
right
I'm going to
now.
commit to it. You know what I'm going to do?
Nice. Now's the
I'm going to
time.
get a little stove that burns peat.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have it in the Conoco offices, and I'm going to burn peat like they do in the old farm
This is
country.
bullshit because you're turning into the caricature you paint of me.
Yeah.
But okay, so what? Maybe secretly I'm just jealous.
Really?
Yeah, I think you have cool stuff.
What's
do.
happening? What's happening?
I'm sorry, you have I think your house is really cool.
What is happening?
And you have-
I am uncomfortable by this.
Well, you shouldn't be. I'm admitting to you that sometimes when I attack somebody for something, it's because secretly I envy what they possess.
Oh no.
You have a really cool arts and crafts home in Pasadena.
Oh no.
Where it's 140 degrees in the summer. There's part of me that envies that.
Arts and crafts home?
Yeah.
It's a style.
Craftsman.
Yeah, I mean, I
But they
guess
can
both
also call
work,
it.
Yeah.
You can also
Is that
call it
true?
art.
That's
Arts
the
and crafts
original
home?
term, I
That's
think.
the original
Is that
term.
true?
It was
Yeah.
a movement.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it could also mean that his house was constructed by children
That's true.
during a half-hour period.
Yeah, it was
In-
finger painted
in
and held
elementary
together
school.
with
Construction
Elmer's
paper.
glue
Made of
and
Elmer's
paste.
glue.
Yeah, it is now that Glenn's running.
No, you have
wild in
very
it.
you have a nice, very nice
All right,
setup.
well, let's move on. I didn't. Expect
Didn't that make you
this.
uncomfortable that I was
Very
nice to you?
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're still an incredible dork.
Thank you.
Here we
That's
go.
Better. That's better.
Terra firma. We're back where we need to be. And Sona, if you in any way need anything, please let us know.
I don't like the way your voice. Why'd your voice have to change just to be nice?
Because I'm making fun of you.
Yeah, you turn into
That's
Lucy
why.
Ricardo's boss.
Lucille. Lucille. I love that you're inspired by sort of sci-fi mood and also video game music, which I think is really cool because I didn't ever think of video game music as being sort of a genre or an inspiration. Of course, I grew up at a time when video game music was just coo-coo-coo-coo. Wham.
What game
And
is
then-
that? Is that
It was a
Pac-Man?
very early game. Yeah. Like Ms. Pac-Man was like, oh. Wham. I was getting a lot of disappointing noises because I wasn't good. Nice try, loser.
That was your inner monologue.
That wasn't even. Come to think of it, I wasn't playing a game. That was
His
just.
inner monologue is just Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Melting.
Yeah. That's why I've never been able to be intimate with anyone. Oh, I really like you. Let's get down. You're a loser. What? Miss Pac-Man, get out of my head. I'm trying to get it on. This is such a stupid interview. I apologize. You're such a talented person. I'm sorry.
You deserve better.
You do deserve a real interviewer. But recently, my son, who's 17, started listening to all this music, and I said, "Where does this come from?" And he said, "It's gaming music." But I was listening to it, and it's really good.
Yeah.
When did you start to notice? Was this something that was always happening, where you're noticing different sounds that you liked?
I guess so. I mean, I was such an indoor kid that I just really enjoyed playing video games and was gifted like a Super Nintendo when I was 5, and I always really enjoyed it. And I think it's really I'm going to do a really bad job of expressing this, but I think it's a really interesting art form to interact with because there are games that like sort of force you to make these kind of like moral decisions, and it's like the only time that you're like actively a part of like the medium in that way that makes you kind of like question your morality. So for instance, there's this game called Stardew Valley. Have you heard of it? It's like a farming game, and I think it's really interesting that like you can play games that like have you like kill someone, which you would never do in real life, but there's a thing called Joja Mart where it's like the corporation, and you can choose whether or not you want to like go to the local seed. So I can
This is good. I like this.
You go to the local seed shop or like go to a cheaper corporation, and somehow like I've never gone to the corporation like in the game, and because that's like crossing a moral line within the game. But you can like in other games you like stab someone and it's fine. But I think it's really interesting to like interact with games. That's like,
But it's interesting that I find it fascinating that games are getting so sophisticated that you're making moral choices.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting is like first-person shooter games, you're basically killing people left and right, but somehow we've been inculcated that there's this. It's not real.
Yeah.
You know, it's not real, and I
but
have
there's
no.
certain things that are like more triggering than others. Like I think it was my husband was playing like Red Dead Redemption or something, or like some game where like you had
If you know the game, chime in, Blake.
maybe it's like it's not Skyrim, but it's like a similar game to that. And like he had to like kill a couple of like dogs that were like attacking him or whatever. And for some reason, like all of the people that he had to like fight was okay, but like when you hit the dog and it makes a sound, it's like there's something like really horrifying
I
about
completely
that, you know?
understand.
Yeah.
I was watching a movie last week, and humans are getting off left and right, and then someone like kicked a small bear.
Yeah.
And the bear went like, "Ooh," and I couldn't. I left the room. I couldn't handle it.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. I think there's a Bartlemy short story called like The Gerbil, and it's all of these like terrible things happen in the class. Like, you know, first it's like the gerbil dies, and then it's like a kid like falls off of, you know, a plaything or whatever, and then they get a puppy, and when the puppy dies, that's the moment like that really, that's like the height of tragedy, not like this like a child that fell in the story.
Yeah, but a lot of
like,
kids suck, you know? I mean, they do. They're just such assholes. I want my chocolate milk. You know? I usually applaud when a child falls. This is our last podcast. This is a successful podcast. And you're a very lovely, talented person. You've done nothing wrong, but somehow you've brought it out of us.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's your
guys.
fault.
Yeah.
It feels to me like when I listen to your music, one of the things, and I think I even heard you say this, that you like this kind of heroes versus villains dichotomy between good, evil, but how the line is blurred. And I always find that fascinating because I love movies. Occasionally I'll love a movie where there's, you know, you watch Die Hard and you know who the good guy is and the bad guy is Hans Gruber, and there's no mistaking that. But I'm more drawn to the movies that I think have more of a European bent where, I don't know, it's interesting. There are people who seem like the bad guy and people who seem like the good guy, but the lines get blurred and you feel like everybody's just trying to do their own thing, and havoc ensues.
I mean, I think that's like the purpose of art, really, is to just like find humanity in people. You know, I mean, I think my favorite shows are shows like The Sopranos, or like where, you know, you're rooting, you feel conflicted because you're rooting for a murderer, and I think it puts everything into perspective. You know, I'm like
you must have watched Sopranos on the second go around, right? Because you seem young to have watched The Sopranos.
I remember when it was coming out, and like my parents would like, I wonder how old I was. I feel like I was definitely too young to watch The Sopranos, but my parents like loved the show so much, and I remember like getting sent out of the room every time like Bada Bing scene came out.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I've rewatched it many times since, and I feel like that's that element of that show, and I feel the same way about Game of Thrones too, where you're just like.
You know, you talk about how important chemistry is, and I know, is the band a democracy? You know, does everyone have a voting say?
I think that this is very hard to answer objectively, but I'll try.
Okay.
I think the five of us, because there's four that you see, myself, Johnny on guitar, Guy plays bass, Will, who's the drummer sommelier, and then Phil, who is our kind of creative director.
You've known him probably
since we were 13,
Yeah.
And he was the other person where I grew up who was like, we're going to do this. And we would read books about REM and U2 and the Police. And we were both in a blues band with this slightly older kid who was teaching us about Motown. And we were like, that's what we're going to do. But with no real no real knowledge of how. So for whatever reason, we've all got our gifts in the world. And mine is, I get sent songs and I get a very clear idea of where we're supposed to go as a band. And I get sent ideas all the time for this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And Phil does too, in a different way, for more sort of where we should play, or let's release an album then, or something like that. So to counterbalance that, you have Will and Guy, who, we're not talking about music, we're just talking about how the band operates. They are more of the naysayers in a good way, to make sure we don't do all the stupid ideas, but they sort of pick what actually is good. And that's the same with music, except that on all of our songs, I know this is a long-winded answer, I'm sorry.
No, this is
on all of our songs, they are like a production line, mostly, which is that I get sent sort of the skeleton of the song and the title and everything, and I'll present that, and then Johnny, Guy and Will layer their stuff on it, and it's not finished until they've all either put their parts on it or decided not to. So we always split our publishing royalties, whatever the song is, because it allows people to choose what's best for the song, because they're going to get paid either way. So they might say, this doesn't need any drums on it, but I'll still get paid for drumming, so I don't need to put drums on it. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense, and I'm down with it except for the payment thing. I do my best to screw the people around me.
I can see that from the threadbare footwear.
I keep saying that's my name up on the marquee, and then I hand them a can of old beans, and they can have that. No, it is. First of all, I think that's very admirable, but it's smart because it means I think there are bands, U2 comes to mind, that have endured for a very long time because there's a communal sense in the band. And I think that helps a band last longer.
I think U2 probably have a slightly different, but as powerful or more powerful democracy because I think they write slightly differently. Them and REM were the two that we looked to in terms of how you keep the band together.
Yeah.
By sharing credit and money. And that's really proved to be true.
It's funny, your job starts out to make music, and then this other job comes along, and some people can do it and some can't. And in your case, obviously you're great at it, but the stage work of doing a massive concert,
right,
the things, all those skills are not discussed in the entire process of you learning to play music and play music with your friends and write these songs. There's no discussion or thought about, okay, when we're playing the arena, when we're playing the Super Bowl, how do we put this across? That takes all of these skills that a lot of people who could get to the point that you were at musically would say, oh, I can't do that, but you are very adept at it. And I think that's a whole other skill set.
Well, first of all, thanks, Conan. I don't know how to answer something like that in terms of adeptitude. Is that the right word? Aptitude? Okay, keep that in.
Yeah.
This is another place where I feel that we've leaned into being ourselves with no fear of embarrassment, because there's no way I'm as adept on stage as Beyonce or Mick Jagger, but I'm definitely the best at being me.
Right.
So that you can only kind of learn by doing,
yes,
and by loving.
And I guess what I'm saying is, Chris, you put on a show.
Yeah, we do.
You and the rest of the guys, you put on a show, but you are, burning incredible amount of calories. There's a huge, you're giving of yourself, and you're also playing to a massive group of people, and a lot of thought goes into the live show.
Yeah,
because it seems very important to you and the guys that everybody feel and be part of every moment.
Yeah, definitely. I was thinking the other day that a lot of the things that we're really good at as a band are not categories that bands get measured by.
Mm-hmm.
So we might not be the best this or that, or in the top 100 this or that magazine or whatever, but there are some things that we really care about that we're just never assessed for. And the main thing we care about is that interaction and communication, partly for our own sake as humans, wanting to feel alive and not so alone, and sort of sing together and feel that positivity, and partly for our audience so that they can have a great time. More so than ever, that's our priority. So I forget what the question was. I'm so sorry.
I asked you how the First World War started.
Yeah, well, a bit like that.
You talk about how important chemistry is, and I know, is the band a democracy? Does everyone have a voting say?
I think that this is very hard to answer objectively, but I'll try.
Okay.
I think the five of us, because there's four that you see, myself, Johnny on guitar, Guy plays bass, Will, who's the drummer sommelier, and then Phil, who is our kind of creative director.
And you've known him probably
since we were 13, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was the other person where I grew up who was like, we're going to do this. And we would read books about REM and U2 and the Police. And we were both in a blues band with this slightly older kid who was teaching us about Motown. And we were like, that's what we're going to do. But with no real no real knowledge of how. So for whatever reason, we've all got our gifts in the world. Mm-hmm. And mine is, I get sent songs and I get a very clear idea of where we're supposed to go as a band. And I get sent ideas all the time for this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And Phil does too, in a different way, for more sort of where we should play, or let's release an album then, or something like that. So to counterbalance that, you have Will and Guy, who, we're not talking about music, we're just talking about how the band operates. They are more of the naysayers in a good way, to make sure we don't do all the stupid ideas, but they sort of pick what actually is good. And that's the same with music, except that on all of our songs, I know this is a long-winded answer. I'm sorry.
No, this is.
And all of our songs, they are like a production line mostly, which is that I get sent sort of the skeleton of the song and the title and everything, and I'll present that, and then Johnny, Guy, and Will layer their stuff on it, and it's not finished until they've all either put their parts on it or decided not to. So we always split our publishing royalties, whatever the song is, because it allows people to choose what's best for the song, because they're going to get paid either way. So they might say, this doesn't need any drums on it, but I'll still get paid for drumming, so I don't need to put drums on it. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense, and I'm down with it except for the payment thing. I do my best to screw the people around me.
I can see that from the threadbare footwear.
I keep saying that's my name up on the marquee, and then I hand them a can of old beans, and they can have that. No, it is. First of all, I think that's very admirable, but it's smart because it means. I think there are bands, U2 comes to mind, that have endured for a very long time because there's a communal sense in the band. And I think that helps a band last longer.
I think U2 probably have a slightly different, but as powerful or more powerful democracy, because I think they write slightly differently. Them and REM were the two that we looked to in terms of how you keep the band together.
Yeah.
By sharing credit and money. And that's really proved to be true.
It's funny, your job starts out to make music, and then this other job comes along, and some people can do it and some can't. And in your case, obviously you're great at it, but the stage work of doing a massive concert,
right,
the things, all those skills are not discussed in the entire process of you learning to play music and play music with your friends and write these songs. There's no discussion or thought about, okay, when we're playing the arena, when we're playing the Super Bowl, how do we put this across? That takes all of these skills that a lot of people who could get to the point that you were at musically would say, oh, I can't do that, but you are very adept at it. And I think that's a whole other skill set.
Well, first of all, thanks, Conan. I don't know how to answer something like that in terms of adeptitude. Is that the right word? Aptitude? Okay, keep that in.
Yeah.
This is another place where I feel that we've leaned into being ourselves with no fear of embarrassment, because there's no way I'm as adept on stage as Beyonce or Mick Jagger, but I'm definitely the best at being me.
Right.
So that you can only kind of learn by doing,
yes,
and by loving.
And I guess what I'm saying is, Chris, you put on a show.
Yeah, we do.
You and the rest of the guys, you put on a show, but you are, burning incredible amount of calories. There's a huge, you're giving of yourself, and you're also playing to a massive group of people, and a lot of thought goes into the live show.
Yeah,
because it seems very important to you and the guys that everybody feel and be part of every moment.
Yeah, definitely. I was thinking the other day that a lot of the things that we're really good at as a band are not categories that bands get measured by.
Mm-hmm.
So we might not be the best this or that, or in the top 100 this or that magazine or whatever, but there are some things that we really care about that we're just never assessed for. And the main thing we care about is that interaction and communication, partly for our own sake as humans, wanting to feel alive and not so alone, and sort of sing together and feel that positivity, and partly for our audience so that they can have a great time. More so than ever, that's our priority. So I forget what the question was. I'm so sorry.
I asked you how the First World War started.
Yeah, well, a bit like that.
What do you do to get yourself in the right space before you go out there and do a show?
Well, I'm getting older, so it's a lot of... I think it would be the same thing that you would imagine a retired footballer would do if you said you have to play this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of creaking and stretching and asking people to manipulate this and loosen that, and it's that kind of thing.
I've gotten into trouble asking people that.
Yeah. Please, could you manipulate this and loosen
Please
that?
manipulate me. Why am I being sued?
As the venues become the same, as sports, so the preparations do too.
That makes sense to me.
When we were playing in bars, I don't drink, but the rest of the band were drinking. When we were playing in arenas, the rest of them were doing, arena type stuff. And when you're playing stadiums, it's like preparing for a big soccer game or a big NFL game, and you're going to get some muscle issues. And
yeah. Oh, I also think, even though I have had people make fun of me because I'll be about to do a show where I'm sitting and chatting with someone and I'm stretching. And people say, what are you stretching for? You're not going to in any way do anything slightly athletic. And I say, it's something about preparing. I need to do something for myself that gets me to a slightly elevated
Yeah, I think
place.
that comes from physical stuff and from uniforms. I think that we see it all around the world. Anyone that's given a uniform to enforce a rule can do it very, very firmly when they have their uniform. But if they were wearing shorts and a t-shirt, you wouldn't take them seriously.
Right.
In the same way that I could not go on stage dressed like this, I would not be able to do it. I have to put on my uniform, which looks pretty similar, but I know it's my band uniform.
Yeah, that makes sense to me though too, because I've always felt it's a performance has to be slightly, you get to a slightly different place than we're sitting here, I'm wearing jeans, you're wearing sweats, we're chatting. If there was an audience here, I sometimes, even if I'll put on a tie, even if it's not required, I just feel that I need to do something that shows that I'm an ice cream man and I put on my ice cream man uniform.
Yeah. Well, this is a cool, I don't know if this is interesting, but it's been on my mind because I got told that I got in trouble for not dressing up enough for the Grammys. Mm-hmm. Although my partner said, you did dress up, you put shoes on. which was A, true, and B, really kind.
Uh-huh.
But I was thinking about, I am happy to feel like I have to wear an outfit if it helps me perform better, but I don't agree with telling people what they have to wear.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a hangover from school where you're told you have to wear this, or I need to write a treatise on this, like the sort of clothing rules.
Yeah. Well, it seems like it's
on my mind, but it's
on your mind because, well, first of all, it's the Grammys and it's representing all different kinds of music and free expression. So the idea that you need to dress up for the Grammys,
yeah, but there's also a thing of, does clothing show respect? And I would never want to show disrespect. So because I love the Grammys, so I was interested. Maybe I was wrong, or maybe we're sort of brainwashed to thinking if you're not wearing a tuxedo, you can't get married, kind of thing.
Right.
Well,
right.
Of course you can if you're hot. What if you're an axe murderer and you're dressed correctly? Are you a better groom than Woody Harrelson over here, who loves you with all his heart but is wearing board shorts?
Right.
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 No, you're not. But then
I didn't know the answer, and I think Woody is very violent, in my experience.
Well, I'm going to give big shout out to Woody Harrelson because he was at a concert of ours one night. He was so kind to my brother when he had no reason to be, that he just became an extra hero in my eyes.
Well, that's nice when obviously people are nice to you, but it's so delightful when you find out who someone really is, when you find out later on that they talked for 20 minutes to the person who was installing cable. I don't know. I love that. When people reveal their true kindness through just...
well, he did another thing too.
It wasn't performative, yeah.
Something I learned from my dad is that everybody is interesting if you ask them questions. Everybody. And my dad is amazing at that. And he comes out on tour a lot. And he doesn't necessarily know who people are from movies. So he talks to our crew a lot, and a lot of them have names like Bash or Hoppy, Mystic, things like that. And then he met this guy called Woody, and he started talking about, what do you do? Do you fold the cables? And it was Woody Harrelson. and hello, Woody, like this.
And then he told you, I met this lovely fellow named Woody.
Yeah, and again, Woody Harrelson was cool as fuck. And
well, I was, many years ago, had a party and Jim Carrey was there and my mother was there. And at one point, I see my mother talking to Jim Carrey and I'm thinking, oh God, what's happening? And then she came over to me and she went, I just talked to the loveliest young man. His name's Jim. And I said, oh, you talked to Jim? And she was like, yes. And I told him, if you want to be in comedy, you stick with it. And they're going to try and put you down, but you keep, of course, he had like 9, he was the biggest star in the world at the time. And I said, Mom, all I want you to do is go back to Boston and tell your friends you told Jim Carrey to stick with comedy.
That's great.
And she did and got laughed out of town.
That's amazing. I was visiting my friend who had cancer at the time in New York in hospital. And I was coming down in the elevator with a nurse in all her glory, like 6 pens in the pocket, like, you know. And I was singing it, not loudly, not like, hey, check this out.
Yeah.
But I was mumbling or something. And she said, oh, you have a beautiful voice. And I said, oh, thank you so much. She said, you should do something with that. and I said, oh, yeah, well, maybe. And she said, also, you look like the guy from Coldplay. This is really true. And I said, okay, yeah, people say that. And she said, you know what you should do? You should call restaurants and say that you're him because you would get really good tables. And then she left.
Hey, Conan O'Brien here. Welcome to Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. I think my voice becomes more and more professional with every outing. I'm taking a lot of pills to...
Voice pills?
Professional pills?
Pure testosterone.
What?
To try and get me into a lower register.
Oh.
That smooth jazz register.
Yeah.
Matt, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Sona, nice to see you as well.
Same.
How about ditto? Does your generation ever say ditto, or is it always same?
No.
Because my son says same. He goes, same.
Does he say samesies?
No, he doesn't do that. He's like a normal kid.
Oh.
You think he's holding a giant lollipop and dressed as a sailor in short pants? Samesies!
No, I don't say ditto.
No,
I don't. Do you? I've never heard you say ditto.
I used to say ditto daddy-o back in the 50s, but that was a long time ago. I don't want to blither and blather today because I think this is a kind of an important podcast.
This episode or this podcast in general?
Oh, the whole podcast. I just think it's an important part of American history.
Oh, boy. You couldn't even finish the sentence.
Couldn't do it. I tried. No, I'm excited about this episode because today is a conversation with Billie Eilish and her brother Phineas. And I love their work. I really do. I think they're very talented. And I was very excited because I don't think they do a lot of stuff that they were going to come into the studio and talk to us. Mm-hmm. And it was a really fun conversation.
It was so fun, and they're really cool. And, they came with, like, their parents who were also really cool.
Yes.
But it made me want to, like, I really wanted them to think I was cool.
I could tell that you were a little self-conscious.
I was.
I think I'm saved from that because I know, first of all, I'm old enough to be their father, if not their grandfather.
Okay.
But so that takes away some of the pressure. There's no effort for me to try and be cool with Billie Eilish and Phineas. I don't feel that pressure at all.
Is that true?
I don't.
I do.
I don't think so.
Well, I wouldn't know because I was relegated back in the nosebleed seats there in the shadows. So you guys could have...
And your mic was turned down in our earphones. He could barely hear you.
That was Conan's request.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Also, that's my normal seat.
Yeah.
You're describing where I usually sit.
Rise
Aaron
up,
Blair.
Blair, rise up.
Yeah.
I don't think it's right either.
Well, here's what happened. Because there's 2 main chairs and 2 microphones, usually if there's one guest... the guest sits there, and then you sit in your seat. But because it was Billie Eilish and Phineas, there was no choice but to place you in a Ralph's supermarket several blocks away.
I'm seeing another mic stand right here. I know we've got extra mics. I'm just wondering.
We couldn't have you creeping up in between Billie Eilish and
Sandwiched
Yeah.
in between them?
Absolutely. And if not,
No.
sandwiched in the same chair at least.
Okay, no, creepo.
And I'll take either of them.
Absolutely not.
You wouldn't have had room. She got really comfortable at one part, and then as she was getting comfortable, I was too.
This is what I was going to say about Billie Eilish's star power. So she's sitting in the chair you're in now, Matt, and she, as you both saw, almost immediately she got so comfortable, she started to, and no other guest has done this, she started to slide down the chair, and she just kept sliding down the chair until I was basically just looking at Billie Eilish's head.
Yeah, that's true.
Resting on the chair, her body completely disappeared, And Phineas got very comfortable. And then at one point, out of the corner of my eye, I look over and I see Sona. And you were mirroring Billie Eilish.
Yeah, nice.
You were way down as if you were on a transcontinental flight in first class.
Yeah.
You reclined all the way. You ordered some warm cashews and a Pinot Noir. And you put on an eye mask. You were so chill.
And I was sitting on a milk bucket in the shadows.
I think that if I did what she did, I would be cool like her. I think that's what I was doing.
But the reason that she's Billie Eilish is that she's not thinking about any of it. She just is.
Well, also she's 21 and I'm 40.
That may help. Yeah. I think this episode sets the record for the most times I've been called dude in one conversation.
Yeah. They're very Californian. I don't know about you, but I wanted to be like, hey man, I'm from California too, bro.
Hey dude.
Hey dude.
I was going to be like you. So did I get it?
That's why you were on the milk bucket.
What? I understand that now. I think you should have gone a bit farther.
Yeah.
Maybe the other room would have been better.
Hello, dudes. I live in Pasadena, and I am most dudular as well.
Why, my dudes, what's spanking?
What's spanking, my chili willies?
Hey, guys, cool.
Want to come to the Rose Bowl swap meet with me? And we could find some Bakelite tea mugs?
Hey, I'm going up to Fuckman's Leap to have some cordials later. Want to come? What?
Wow,
what was
you
that?
lost
I don't know.
You
everybody.
lost me completely. I don't know what you're talking about.
Everybody got lost with that.
Well, it'll come out.
No, please leave it.
Yeah, I think you had a stroke.
Silence
What's
afterwards.
Fuckman's Leap?
I don't know. It just came out.
Wait, so you don't even, that's not even a real thing?
I don't know what it is.
Who improvises Fuckman's Leap? That's insane. That is not coming out. That is a pure moment of insanity.
It's come out of my mouth before, but I don't know what it is.
Fuckman. Hey, dudes. We were on a riff about you being square in front of Billie Eilish, and then your attempt to be a, quote, square guy is to say we're all going up to Fuckman's Leap, which, for the record, is the coolest sounding place I've ever heard in my life.
And boom, that shows that I've got it.
Oh, my God.
I want to die on Fuckman's Leap. Conan O'Brien committed suicide today. He jumped off Fuckman's Leap. His wife could not be reached for comment because she was too busy laughing.
This is the problem. We're doing a whole day of segment and intro recordings, and there's no celebrity in here today. I mean, no offense. And it just feels too, like, groovy. You know, we're too jazzy right now. I'm too comfortable.
Love it. I think it's great. If it brought us Fuckman's Leap, I say more of this.
Jazzy and groovy.
Anyway.
You're so cool. You're so with it.
I told you before we started rolling that The World's a Little Blurry. I really love that documentary because it's about the process. And I love anything that shows both sides of fame, success in a realistic lens. And what first of all, the gap between the journey between you two in a bedroom. You put a blanket over your head sometimes.
I know.
Bickering, you prodding, having arguments, arguing with your mom in the kitchen. And man, are you intimidating.
I know.
When you're mad, I have, a teenage daughter. I get terrified. So when I'm watching the documentary, it's as scary to me as any horror movie because you'll just shoot those eyes at someone and you're not even trying. You're just staring at them. And if I were your mom, I would jump out the window.
I know. 16-year-old me is a scary thought. It's a scary sight to see. I mean, I think about myself and think about the people that I used to have to make them be put through being around me at that age.
Subject
and I feel very...
Yeah.
I can't even, it makes me sick to my stomach thinking about if I had to be around the younger Billy. It really freaks me out sometimes.
Yeah.
Scary girl.
What about you? I mean, Phineas, you seem, and this is just from the documentary and performances, you seem like someone who doesn't lose his shit, but do you sometimes?
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Phineas is an incredible
actor. I didn't know.
Incredible. So I mean,
Genuinely.
are we talking about like backstage? Are you kicking stuff? Are you smashing things?
Ooh, should we tell stories?
Yeah, I think that's what we're here to do.
I was as a little kid, as like a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, I'm told that I was very explosive, and I have a infinite supply of rage.
Yeah.
What an explanation.
But I don't think anyone should be on the receiving end of it. So I try to just, quell it. I try to go empathy first, but there's always rage below it. My friend Ricky always reminds me that at one point he said, "Do you have a lot of rage?" Which is a testament to like being around me too much, maybe to see me sort of at the Guitar Center staring off into middle distance. And he said, "Do you have a lot of rage?" And I said, "Are you joking?" That was apparently the thing I said.
That is all I have.
But I don't scream at anybody. True or false?
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree.
My team will disagree. I have no anger issues.
Are you an asshole?
You're a total asshole.
You know what I am?
Passive aggressive.
No, are you an asshole?
I don't think I'm. Well, you guys can back me up. I am not an asshole. I don't think.
Everyone
but
whose mortgage is paid by.
Yeah.
I know.
Now remember, before you answer,
Yeah.
your checks don't come out till Monday.
I saw a full panel of people vigorously
You're
shaking
not an
their head to
asshole.
keep their job.
Can we meet you behind the
Jesus
building
Christ.
later and tell you what we feel?
Well, I think I've worked for him longer than anybody. And I will say he's not an asshole, but he has made an art form of being passive aggressive.
Because the way I grew up, but the way I grew up is I do have. I relate to Phineas because I have a lot of anger. I have a temper. And I used to really get angry when I had a bad temper when I was a kid.
Sure.
And what I did is I grew up in a family very unlike yours where we weren't supposed to express
Catholic?
negative things. Catholic. We're not supposed to express. And no one was around saying, well, how do you feel about what just happened? There's none of that.
Yeah.
So there was nobody expressing any of that. So what happened was there's a lot of pent up anger. And what I learned is you could express anger in this. I could let it out like a teapot. There's a little hole that it's coming out, but it's shooting out at great force. And it's passive aggression. It's me saying, that sounds like a wonderful idea. And people are like, fuck. And I mastered this thing of being able to talk to somebody for a bit who I was really mad at, and we had a pleasant conversation, and then I'd leave, and they'd think, I think we had a pleasant conversation. Oh my God, I'm bleeding. He stabbed me with words 9 times, but I didn't feel it. So it's an issue. Yeah, it's an issue that I have to work on. But I don't think you can have creativity without some
internal rage.
You have to have.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that has
I
been.
think you have to be a little tortured. That's what I think.
Yeah, you have to be. There's some great quote, and I'm misquoting it, but it was like a lot of the world's great work has been done by people who didn't feel quite well. It's like
it's true.
I think the caveat there is that it's this slog and it's this challenge, and then sometimes it's effortless for 2 hours. Do you know? Does that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like we had that yesterday. We've been slogging through writing for months. And yesterday we had a couple hours where the faucet was on. It was really easy.
Yeah.
But mostly it's not.
I feel bad that I interrupted your great creative flow and you had to come here and do the podcast.
That was yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah.
What if it was going really great and they said, you got to do that Conan podcast?
We'd do it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Well, they have to say that
I
now.
know,
They're
we'd do
here.
it.
Yeah. I know, but then their fans would be like, what did we miss out on? By the way, have you played Bonnaroo?
Uh-huh.
We've done all of them.
You've done all of them.
Pretty much,
did.
yeah.
Sona, you were with me when I did Bonnaroo
Yeah.
Oh, because they make
years ago.
Yeah.
And it was
What the hell?
trench war. It was like
was
trench warfare. It's all
disgusting.
mud. It takes place in the summer in Tennessee.
You're in a tent.
You're in a tent. No, and like what I noticed with your fans is they love to get their hands on you, and you're very generous about hugging people. I'm the same way. I don't mind hugging people. Huge mistake at Bonnaroo.
They're moist.
Nobody had a shower in a week.
Oh,
and a
yeah.
half.
Oh, yeah.
Naked and moist.
Stinky.
There's a lot of naked, and disgusting people.
Yeah. Yeah, but happy and high, probably. Like,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
just, you know.
Well, you were high too.
I was. But not too high. I was
I
working.
would send you out for a nice coffee and you'd come back with like a goose.
Here you go. Oh, it's not a nice coffee.
Yeah, it was Bonnaroo.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
good time.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I noticed was there's this difference between your fans who you love, like when they're telling you they love you, and especially these young women who you mean so much to, and they're going crazy and they love it. And then at a certain point, when if it's hundreds of thousands of people, I would think it starts to get it's overwhelming. Does that
It's weirdly in a way underwhelming when there's more people.
Right. Okay.
So like, you know, I played my first stadiums over the summer, and I was playing markets that I hadn't played before, so I hadn't been there, so a lot of people wanted to go, and I didn't want to do, you know, 5 shows in an arena, so might as well do a stadium or 2 stadiums or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a couple stadiums over the summer, and like that was really exciting because I was like, ooh, I want to be in a stadium. It's so sick. It's so big. You're a fucking star. And then you're on the stage and it's like, you feel like you're just alone. And then there's like it feels like there's a printed out wallpaper of thousands of people because they're so far away that there's like no intimacy. I mean, I went to the Super Bowl the other day and I was sitting in a box with Adele.
Mm-hmm.
I know. But
it's what people do.
But we were talking about it because she's, you know,
I didn't see you there. That's weird.
You know the name drop thing where people say the first name of the person and then they say the last name? Like you go like, I was on Conan O'Brien. Like you know what I'm talking about, the name drop?
Yeah.
You can't do that with Adele.
No, you can't.
I was with Adele.
Adele is just Adele.
Yeah.
But anyway, we were talking about it because she's doing this Vegas residency and she's just, you know, not to out her, but she said she's having the time of her life. And she's like, I love that it's like a 4,000 cap room. And she's like, it's so nice. I feel like I can be there with them. And I feel intimate.
You outed
with
her
them.
for having the time of her life.
I don't know. She might not want that to be known. I don't know.
I can't write a song about that. This is what I have found is that in comedy, it's the same thing as in music, that it's supposed to be the best when you get to a stadium, and I've obviously never played a stadium, but I've played some really big spaces, and I've thought, I don't like this as much. And then you think, what's the magic number? I think it's like 1,500, 2,000, somewhere around there is the sweet spot of. I feel like everybody in this room, we're all connecting. It's an exchange.
Yeah.
Like if I say something that they think is funny, they laugh, and you can there's this nice feeling of it's a community.
Community, yeah.
Once it gets really big, and there's a lot of things about success that are like that, where you're facing new challenges of, like now you've got people that will say like, okay, I want to do what you two did. I want to be like that. Mm-hmm. And then you're trying to think of, but I want to evolve. I want to keep changing. I want to keep growing. And so you've got new battles that you didn't have 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. I've been drowning in a pool of that recently. Just like, how do I evolve and what do I do? And, I feel like for the last month I've been completely just literally like drowning. I feel like because dude, I achieved the kind of things before I even was 18 that are, things that people work their entire lives for and maybe never even get. And like one of the things that I achieved is like one thing someone gets at the end of their life, and one other, and I got all of them,
Right.
and I'm 21 now, and I'm at a point where I'm like, I've done it all. What am I gonna do now? And like, where do I go from here? And who do I want to be? Because I've also only ever been teenage Billie Eilish, and so that's the person I thought I was. And then I got to a certain age, and I was like, oh, that was teenage me. That's
right.
I thought I was being I was like, oh, I'm myself, and this is who I am. And it was who I was, but it was
me as a teenager. And it's very strange to grow up and become an adult, and like the person that you kind of finally figured out how to be in like the perfect way that everybody thinks is who you are is yourself as a teenager. It's very jarring and hard to deal with.
Well, I was really happy that your parents came. They are outside. Yeah, they're outside. I wouldn't let them in. Your father got in here twice, and I had him taken out, and I had someone shave his beard.
Why?
Yeah. I like it. It looked really cool, but I have that kind of power. You're in my building.
Okay, right.
So, no, he's. I think one of the things that you two have that is rare, especially because you're both so young when this all started, when this was happening, is to have your parents there and have them be really decent people who have their heads screwed on right. It just doesn't happen. I think 9 out of 10 times it doesn't happen. And that's a godsend. That's really special. I mean, I'm sure there were moments where you're like, why are they on the tour bus?
Very rarely. It's really fun.
I love
They're really
having our
great.
parents out.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a moment over the summer where I was having like I need to be an adult moment, and like I need to have space, and I need to have my own this and my own that, and I need to go on tour alone, and I need to do this and this and this alone. I want to be independent. And I do need that in a lot of ways, because, you know, you need that as you grow older. But then also now I'm like, well, I like my parents being around, and I like my mom coming and doing stuff with me.
Well, because Billy moved away.
I did move away.
And I think when you don't live with your folks anymore,
it's nicer to, it makes you more grateful to do everything with them. So I'm like, now I just like, I you know, when I have a free night, I like go and hang out with my parents. That's the first thing I think of doing.
Well, it is the pattern. I mean, I've seen it with my daughter, which is she was, you know, very smart, independent, cool, artistic, and then I could tell we were getting on her nerves, and then she went off to college, and she'd come back from college, and she would ask us to do things that we know for a fact she can do on her own. She'd be like, could you pour me a glass of milk? Like, you mean the carton of milk that's right there on the pretty please? And you could tell like she just wanted to be back in that space.
Straight, this girl's drinking just regular milk?
No. She has a flask of scotch that she has on her that she pours into the milk. Okay. That's how we do it.
Makes
in our
it
house.
even weirder. Yeah. This is whole, we're talking whole milk, 2%. This is not even like an LA. I thought aren't you isn't she a Nepo baby? Isn't she on oat milk or almond milk or pistachio milk? You've got this girl on 2%?
Yeah, 2%. No, I live in the Palisades, and I'm a celebrity, so I found a special 9% milk. It's got huge chunks of fat floating in
Conan
it.
drinks the 1% milk.
Yeah.
There you go. Got it.
No, I drink the 1% of the 1% milk. Only Adele gets that.
Hi, my name is Zach Braff, and I feel so honored about being Conan O'Brien's friend.
Thank you for reading that just as I dictated it to you minutes ago. You know, it was so nice. You light up a room. I'm going to say that.
Thank you.
I had a Christmas party not long ago, and at the last second...
I crashed it.
Well, you didn't crash. A mutual friend revealed that he said, is it okay if I bring my friend Zach Braff? And I said... What do you mean, is it okay? Who's unhappy to see Zach Braff?
Thank you.
You are a very well-liked fellow.
Well, it was a very fancy party. I mean, you have a lot of friends. I know the gag here is that you need a friend, but you have a lot of fancy friends.
Well, that's everyone who's done the podcast. And when you sign the release, it says you have to go to my Christmas party. But it was really, but I love the phrasing of, is it okay if Zach Braff comes?
Well, what happened was our mutual friend said he was going, and I was like, wow, I love Conan, and I'm pretty sure after all these years, I have a pretty decent sense that Conan likes me, but I'm not invited.
Ouch.
I'm not I haven't been invited to the party.
Because I didn't, I mean, first of all.
No, I mean, we don't hang out socially. We have a couple of times, but not that much. But anyway, so I said, and he goes, well, you know, obviously be respectful. I'll just call and ask,
Right.
and I got a yes, and I was like, oh well, now I gotta look good for Conan.
Yeah, and
Because I felt like it was a bit of an audition.
you were
like,
wearing a gorgeous gown.
no,
when you came in.
that
Beautiful
gown,
silk.
that was a contender for the Emmys, and I said, you know what?
But I saw you, and immediately we're hanging out. We're having a really good time, and everybody was excited to see you.
Yeah.
I should point
said,
out.
yeah, of course.
No, they were.
Yeah.
But I should say, I keep saying our mutual friend. We should reveal it's Mr. T. Mr. T.
I wish it was Mr. T.
It was. Wouldn't it be cool if the three of us just cruised around and had fun?
It's Bill Lawrence, who is an incredible friend of mine and mentor to me, and he created Scrubs. He created one of the creators of Ted Lasso, and is one of the creators of this new show Shrinking, and he's one of my best friends, and also been a huge Big Brother mentor to me, who is also your friend.
Yeah, he's a very good man, extremely talented.
Yes, very funny.
Great guy. And so I was so glad that he brought you along, and that made me think, man, we got to grab this guy for the podcast.
Thank you. And I left the party thinking I need more cool friends, because I only have a few friends, and they're cool. I love them. But like, you have a lot of cool friends.
Yeah, I guess.
Or is that just a Christmas party and you just feel stacking it?
Yeah, it's all stacked. and you see that
I hung out with Paul Rubens at your house.
Isn't that crazy?
I've met Paul, and he's very sweet. He sends me a Christmas card and a birthday card every single year. But I never hung out with him socially other than to meet him.
Very sweet guy.
Couldn't have been nicer. And he was at your house, and I was just like, I can't believe I'm like chilling with Paul Rubens.
Also, the urge to call him Pee-wee is so strong. And you have to call him. He is Paul. He's Paul Rubens, and you get used to that. But I've been with him when people are like, Pee-wee! He's not Pee-wee now. He's Paul. He becomes Pee-wee.
I'm sorry I did that.
I know.
I love Pee-wee.
I think you did, actually.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Did I? I don't think I did.
No, I'm pretty sure you.
I loved.
You were so
I loved his show when I was young.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, it was revolutionary.
I had the doll that you pulled the string. I had Cherry that you put him in.
Yes. Well, also it was so revolutionary because it was that show that you could watch on two levels.
Yes, absolutely.
There were kids watching it, just loving Pee-wee, and then there were all of us watching it on this completely different level.
Yeah.
So subversive and cool.
In a way, it was like kind of that before The Simpsons was that, like,
right.
Right. I mean,
I think
I
that's
feel
fair.
weird. I feel real weird telling you that, but it's like it was an early thing that was kids will get it on one level, adults will get it on another.
Yes, there's all kinds of stuff going on The Simpsons that you now watch. I mean, that's the I think the Batman series of the '60s was the same thing, where you can watch it. Wow, Batman got the Joker. But when you're a little older, or when you're seeing it and you're watching it and you're thinking, oh my God, they're making all this commentary on all this insane stuff that's going on in the world, and instead of what is the mayor of Gotham is Mayor Linseed, as in linseed oil, instead of Lindsay, who was the mayor of and
it's also so campy, which as a kid I didn't clock or understand.
No, you don't understand that.
Yeah.
We're not meant to understand that.
Yeah, but now you watch it and it's hilarious because it's like he has bat shark spray on him when just when they encounter the shark,
I know. I'm really happy because I think you did my various late night shows. You were on like 11 or 12 times, and always a reliably great guest. And I thought, in that format, I couldn't really get to know you because it's a very different situation. There's a band, and you've got 7 minutes with Zach, and then we move on. We go. And I thought I'd really like to get to know this guy, and I started to do. Looking into your past, and I was really surprised by a couple of things, which is I didn't realize you grew up in this, it's sort of a religiously schizophrenic situation where your dad is Jewish and your mom is Protestant?
No, she converted before they got married because he was super into Judaism at the time, and he wasn't going to marry a non-Jewish woman, so she converted.
She was Protestant when she met him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he said, I love you, but you would definitely need to convert for this to go further. And she didn't really have much connection to her religion, and she was interested, and she was very in love. And she said, okay, I'll do it. I love you, and I'm not really connected to my own religion, so I'll do it. And then she, as what happens with some people, she got super into it and made my dad more religious. Like she made the family kosher. And
this is not uncommon. This is quite. I mean, I've heard of this, and I've known people that have gone through this, where someone converts, and then almost because it's new to them, they go farther.
Yeah, because also I think some of those people are looking for a thing, looking for a passionate group or religion, and then when someone provides it with them in a really educated way, they go all in. They're like, "This is amazing! I haven't had this." So it was kind of funny that then we were like really religious and kosher. Well, sorry, I wasn't born yet, but by the time I was around, we were kosher and as far even as extreme as like doing separate dishes for meat and dairy and like for real kosher. And
it surprises me as someone who was raised Catholic when I've had, years ago I remember talking to a friend who's another comedy writer who was very Orthodox, and he had just moved into a new apartment, and there were things that took me by surprise. I remember talking to this friend of mine once, and he said, "Yeah, I can't talk right now. There's a rabbi here with a blowtorch."
What?
And I said, "What?" And he said, "Well, he's in the kitchen, and there's a special rabbi that comes who uses a blowtorch to burn out any trace of, I'm guessing, pork or shellfish or anything that could possibly..."
They call it treif, which is, I don't know if it's Yiddish or Hebrew for things that are not kosher. I was told, and we never did this, but that if we messed up, the plate would have to be buried in the backyard. Like if you put meat and cheese on that plate, it was done. So that way we're gonna have to. No one's ever followed through on this, and I don't know if I'm naive if to know if people who are super religious Orthodox really do that. Right. But that was sort of in the back of my childhood brain, was like, don't mess up or this poor plate's going to get buried.
They should use them. You know, it'd be great if they use them for skeet shooting instead. You know, if like, oh, wait, a little bit of cheese got on that plate, and then suddenly it gets fired in the air, and a bunch of rabbis with shotguns shoot it to pieces.
Rabbis with shotguns doing
I just love that.
Shooting.
They were just like, and they were specialized. That's what they did. They had guns, they were ready to go, and they would shoot these treif plates. I love treif.
Treif.
I've heard that before.
I've never heard that one.
I wish that was my rap name.
Oh, do you need a rap name? Are you rapping?
I am rapping, and I'm
so you do
DJ
need a
Treif.
name.
I don't know if you. I think I'm more likely to go to an Israeli rapper than you.
I rap about all the things that are treif and that we can't eat.
What was funny is that my mom, then they got divorced when I was around 8. And my new stepfather was not into this at all. So, and then my mom, again, being in love and accepting a new life, was like, yeah, forget about all that.
What?
Well, no,
what a whiplash for you.
Exactly. Because,
you're going, that's
because
crazy.
I was in joint custody. So we would go, my sister and I have 2 older brothers who opted out, but my sister and I would go a week with one, and then a week with the other. And we were with my mom, we were not kosher and not religious. And we were with my dad, he was strict kosher and religious. It was a trip.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. It was pretty crazy.
And so...
and then when I turned 13, I had a bar mitzvah. Mm-hmm. And I did this sort of jujitsu move on him because he was all about how now you are a man. And I said, well, if I'm a man now, I would like to eat a cheeseburger.
Wow. How'd that go over?
He to his credit, he knew he's. By the way, I don't mean to say that he wasn't an incredibly loving man. He was just a religious man. So he got it. I mean, he smiled at the jujitsu move.
Right.
But then he knew I was battling this thing of like mom's house one week, his house, and so it became like when you're in my home, I ask that you respect being kosher, but out in the world and whatever, you are a young man now and you can do whatever you want.
It's so interesting because I would so many people that if your name comes up, I think the first thing they would think is because they know you as primarily as this performer on screen, and you're very likable and chipper seeming, and I happen to know that a lot of anxiety when you were young.
Yeah.
Do you think was that stem from the divorce, or do you think that was just a natural condition?
I think I definitely was a very anxious child. I got diagnosed with OCD as a very young. Oh. I was doing a lot of the tapping stuff that people suffer from.
Yeah.
And it would manifest in a weird way. Like the example I give to people who never had experienced any of this at all is you're a child and you say, if you don't kiss that teddy bear 6 times before you leave the room, something bad could happen to the family. And then even as in your young brain, you go, I know that's not real, probably, but just to be safe, let me do it.
Exactly. Do I want to risk it?
Why risk it?
Right.
It's like superstitions for regular people. Like you don't walk under a ladder, you don't do this, you don't do that. But it's in a child's brain, it's like, why would I possibly risk it? But then the kisses of the teddy bear, you didn't quite get right. It felt like did I do 6 total? I think I miscounted.
The bear doesn't look satisfied.
The bear is seeing someone else.
The bear
The love has gone out of this. Once the sex goes, it's over, says the bear.
That's hilarious. I never thought of it like that. Like the bear was like, give me more.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there was a lot of that tapping stuff, and yeah, I think of course the divorce was stressful, and joint custody is stressful, and you would get settled in one home, and then Sunday you'd have to switch to a completely different environment.
Right.
And my sister and I would be quite upset because both environments were so different, and then it would take till like Wednesday to kind of get acclimated.
Right.
And then you moved Sunday, so there was a lot of stress. I don't mean to blame that on my parents entirely. I think some of it is genetic, and I was an anxious boy.
Yeah, I relate to that just because I think I had, and my parents stayed together. I tried to get them to separate. I'm still working on it. My dad just turned 94. My mom's 91. And I think it's time now that I said, look, just try living separately for a while. I think they should see other people.
Are they close? Are you close?
What's that?
Are you close to getting them to do it?
I think I'm pretty close.
Okay.
Several times I've driven my father to a motel. But he won't get out of the car. But
you drove me.
Well, I'd say, look, it's nice. That's a comfort hotel.
Newly single at 94 sounds pretty bad.
Yeah.
Any hotel that still says free HBO on the sign, They haven't changed that sign since 1983. Garden State felt like, I'm trying to think of the chronology, because has Scrubs ended completely when you do Garden State?
No, I was very young. It was I think after the second or third season of Scrubs, because my first hiatus from Scrubs, I was in a production of Twelfth Night at the Delacorte, Shakespeare in the Park in New York, which had always been a dream of mine. And then I remember while being there writing Natalie Portman a letter, because she was my first choice. I didn't ever think she'd say yes, but she was like the archetype of who I pictured.
Sure, yeah.
And I knew that she had done The Seagull there, so I thought, oh, this will be a good angle. I'm sitting in the same dressing room where she once sat, and I'll write her a very personal note to saying, please consider the script. And then she said yes over that season 2. So it may have been after season 2 or 3. I forgot, but we shot in 2003, whatever that was.
I mean, first of all, getting Natalie Portman, and this is your directorial debut.
Yeah, and I'm young,
very young. And I remembered at the time it being, you're stepping out of your comfort zone to say, like, I'm on this successful sitcom.
Yeah.
Everyone knows me as this guy, as this character, but I am going to make this movie.
Yeah, and it's something that's very vulnerable, saying like, "Hey, here are the things I've dealt with. Here are." I mean, I had so much chutzpah when I think back. I didn't know what I didn't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's another gift too.
It is
to be. Were I to get in a time machine now, knowing everything I know, and someone said, "Okay, it's 1993," what you're going to do is, I'd say, "No." That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
No, and that's going to be painful and awful, and I'm going to get knocked around. And no,
yeah,
I'm just going to stay right here in this armchair.
Yeah.
Because it's great not to know.
Yeah, I didn't know anything.
It's a superpower.
It's a superpower. That's a great way to put it. And so, and amazing things happened. I mean, it became no one wanted to fund it at first. No one knew. It was a sort of different kind of screenplay where the third act should go. The character just go off on a quest for a piece of jewelry we've never heard about.
Right.
It didn't really follow. I was being a little bit brave with structure, and And so it was hard to find someone to make it. And then I did. And then we had a really meaningful Sundance sale. And then it went on to become really successful.
How terrified, it all worked out so well, but how terrified, just knowing you, how scared were you? I always try to delineate, I've never been in this film business. I've always been in a, let's get in there, think of a couple of ideas. Okay, these seem pretty good. Let's get out there and do it. Bang! Crowd seemed to like it. Let's go. What's the next one? Or a crowd didn't like it. Well, we'll get them tomorrow.
Yeah.
And this idea that you're putting that much time and so much of yourself into something, and you're so young, and then it's coming out.
Yeah.
It's coming out. How scary must it be?
It's terrifying. But I feel the same way now. I have a new movie coming out. You're so vulnerable. But what else can you do? I mean, I think when you choose this career, it's like what else are you going to do? You have to do it. You have to make stuff and go, okay, here world. But in the spirit of not knowing what I didn't know, I'd never put myself out there. Scrubs, I was hiding behind the great Bill Lawrence. I just did what he said to do and improv some jokes and it worked. But he was the face of it. Right. I mean, in Hollywood at least. Garden State was the first time saying, "Hey world, these are some of my thoughts and feelings.
Right.
Love them or hate them." And so that's terrifying.
Yeah, you said, "Hey, now you're going to listen to me." See.
No, you say, "Hey, please, maybe look at this."
No, but I remember at the time you doing a lot of interviews. You saying, "Now you're all going to listen to me." See. And you had a big cigar.
No, you're thinking of somebody else.
I'm thinking of Guys and Dolls.
You're thinking of whenever they do like old like movies parodies. They're like, "I had a pound, you."